I don't have a joke.
Well, I've got one. It's not all that good, but I'll give it my best.
Yeah, try your
I'm
hardest.
still trying to work out my distance from this new microphone. Shout out to patrons. I was speaking to Doll about Candace this week, and she had no fucking clue what I was on about. I was like, Candace, you know Candace? Candace dick fit in your ass. Hey, yo.
Take me out to dinner, baby.
Let's go.
Good evening, sheeple.
Cause I'm hung like planet Pluto, hard to see with the naked eye. But if I crashed into your anus, I would stick it where the sun don't shine. Because I'm kinda like Han Solo, always stroking my own Wookiee. I'm the root of all that's evil, yeah, but you can call me Cookie. The roof is on fire.
That was fire.
Yeah, that's the Bloodhound Gang, for everyone that didn't know.
I fucking love the Bloodhound Gang.
Hey, yo, we're back.
We are back once again with ill behaviour.
Yeah, I'm sorry if the mic sounds a little bit raspy. I'm just listening to it now. It sounds a little bit crisp, but we'll soldier on through.
So Reg's got his new mic on.
I have my new mic. Thank you very much. Yeah,
big shout out to the Patreons.
Yeah, you guys pay for this. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're like, oh, it sounds like shit, it's just because I haven't set it up right. But I've done my best.
You have to remember, we are retards trying to play a big game.
Yeah, but we are professionals now. I worked that out this week. I was like, we're actually professionals because we get paid to do this.
Wow.
We do, yeah. We actually can classify ourselves as...
So does this technically mean that I'm your boss?
You're my daddy.
Yeah, you know me, fucking daddy.
You're on the board of directors, put it that way.
So, Reg, for everyone out there, what mic have you got?
I've got a Shure SM7B.
Which is, from what I've seen, that is the King podcast mic.
It is. It is like the creme de la creme of podcasting microphones.
Is it the one Roger's got?
Yes, it is. It is the one.
Oh, look, red one.
Right, so
again.
This episode's going to be 4 hours long.
So what do you think, man, about the state of everything?
Just do an Elon Musk to start smoking weed or
in the
something.
water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Right, Reg, who have we got on tonight?
Returning again from a long break is Kirbz.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be back.
Yeah, good to have you, man. Good to
see you all.
And also, the man, the myth, the legend, Gilo.
Shalom, motherfuckers.
Shalom, shalom. And also in the corner, not sure if he's going to chime in or not, we've got Mule, the ex-prison guard. How you getting on, mate? All right?
Bonjour, my friends.
Very good, very nice.
I'll tell you what, I would fuck him. He's pretty, isn't he?
Can we tone down the nonce jokes this week? I had a lot of editing on my hands last time. You guys might have thought he went a bit heavy on the nonce jokes last time. I cut half of them out.
You guys know nothing.
You haven't seen nothing yet.
Right, before we get into anything, merch restock. I think this is the first time in a long time that everything on the site has been in stock. And if it's not in stock, because people have already bought it. But yeah, big restock. We've got hats, we've got t-shirts, we've got all this shit going on, man. Have a look. If you're a Patreon, you obviously get 10% off. If you haven't got your code, you're fucking useless.
You're a fuckface peasant.
Yeah. Then again, shout out to the Patreons.
Yes, thank you very much. You are the only reason that we have such a lovely mic. Marlon's got a new mic arm. Look at the new mic arm that Marlon's got. It actually means I can see Kirbz's face.
It is very sleek, and I do feel bad for Reg.
Definite game changer.
Yes, not cheap, but at the same time, fucking well worth it.
Yeah. And then thank you to everyone that subscribed to the YouTube. That is picking up hella traction now.
12?
You're a cunt. I know that's not a number, is it? It's got to be like 200 now, I reckon.
Sweet.
Then again, shout out to Bear Hunter for sponsoring this episode.
Yeah, just quickly. So this episode is going to be coming out the day before the bar crawl.
Keen or no, Shag?
I'm fucking hyped. I mean, we're recording this a week in advance, but I am fucking hyped.
We were just talking about it before we started this podcast, and everybody is so hyped for it.
Yeah.
We're very excited, but we have realised the amount of people that are going. We have stressed it before, but Wells is a very small town.
And there's a city.
So we want everybody.
I've got a fucking great cathedral in the middle.
Yeah. Wells is very small. The pubs are quite small, so there might be a limited amount of places that we can get into.
So what we're going to do, when you're listening to this now, of this night, there will be locations put up to where we're starting and a rough time of when we'll be starting. As we've said, try not to wear too much merch so we don't get picked on or anything. Fucking awesome special guests coming as well.
Yeah. We sorted out some obviously guests that have been on the podcast. We've sorted out a few in the last couple of days. So yeah, it's going to be fucking legitness. I'm very excited.
I look forward to meeting you all.
Yeah.
Well, you scumbags.
I think that's it admin wise, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's done.
Crack on.
So,
Awesome.
Reg, how's the fucking week been?
Well, it's been a couple of weeks, hasn't it? Because we've not recorded last week because we had a couple in the bank.
little break,
Boom! I had a weekend off, so I thought I'd make the most of it and not fucking record a podcast. So yeah, roof's done. Fucking proper. I'm proper Marlon spec now. I put 2 ton of gravel on the drive, done the roof. A small fortune has been spent on that. Other than that, yeah, no, the lawn. I've turned it. I'm at that age now where I'm old as fuck. And now I'm just like looking at my lawn like, God, don't that look good? Don't that look fucking good?
Really?
Yeah.
You sit there and sort of touch yourself.
Well, no, because like when I mow it and I put the stripes in it and I take great pride in it, I realise that I am.
Do you get like really upset with the lines like a little bit squiggly?
Yeah. No, I gotta like go over it again, do like another pass. Yeah,
You sit there and go, what will the neighbours think? They're looking at that. I'm going to stay at that.
oh mate, it's just.
I'm older than you, and I have never once looked at my lawn and thought, "Oh shit, yeah, that looks good." I'm like, "Oh shit, can we?"
It was causing me that much anxiety. I ended up getting AstroTurf just to save the fucking hassle. I couldn't go with it.
I've been trying to persuade Chief to get.
Yeah, mine won't
AstroTurf.
have it either. Not
Just
at all.
get it done. Just get it done. Just do it. Remember, you were like men of your particular. No, you're
I
not.
don't care enough.
I'm trying to, but I'm trying to get rid of the weeds from a certain someone that I bought the house from, Big Mule. So the weeds were taller than me. I'm 6 foot just to clear this one up, and I've just about got them down. I've had some special weed killer, and they grow, and they still grow, and they're still growing now. We're down to about 2 foot of weeds. So
2 foot.
I can't wait for the day where I can mow.
I just get in there with a cultivator, mate, and just blow it all to pieces.
Well, that's the next step. We're about to use fire.
If you want to borrow the propane torch,
I've seen it.
Burn it.
That's it. Fire's the answer to everything.
Yeah, I think we're going there soon.
There's not a lot that can't be fixed with fire.
No, it's nothing. I can't think of anything.
I just don't want to touch the fence.
orientation.
Oh, God, yeah.
Fix that with fire. Marlon's face. No.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Yeah, so that's about it. Really, not too much. I'll tell you what. I tried to do one good thing this week. I'm trying to do like one good thing a week. And I went into Tesco's. I don't know if any of you been in Tesco's locally. I popped in and I saw there was a homeless woman outside with a little dog, and I was especially feeling rather what do you call it, charitable?
Yeah.
So I went in and I was like, right, I'll buy her a meal deal and a coffee and like a tin of dog food for the dog.
what did you get her in the meal deal?
Oh,
If it was egg and cress.
really important. Egg and cress. No, it was chicken and bacon and a Boost bar and a Costa coffee, because that is included in the meal deal now, if you didn't know. Yeah. Oh, coming up with some fucking knowledge on this podcast.
It's like money-saving expert, this, isn't it? It's
It's not
beautiful.
fucking Martin Lewis here. No,
He's only been bankrupt 3 times.
So yeah, I popped in and I got that, and as I came out, I had my own meal deal as well, so I was really hungry. And yeah, she was gone. So
You ate 2 meal deals.
I ate 2 meal deals, and I
Maybe
felt
she just went home.
fucking great.
Maybe she climbed in.
Maybe she did. I don't know.
She's
but yeah, I was
collected her money for the day. She
fucking-
just pissed off.
Yeah, I was not best impressed, but I was like, fucking hell, won't be fucking doing that again. Saw her next, I was like, fuck you. You'll be gone by the time I
Actually,
get
Next time he spat at her and went past.
Kicked in the face. And the dog.
Kick the fucking dog.
I had the same thing yesterday. I went to Bath and there was a homeless bloke there. And it was like, oh, ex-serviceman, this, that, and everything. I was like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm give him a couple of quid. I happen to go into the Cafe Nero, one of them. Got a drink, got my bottle of Coke. I thought it'd be a nice thing to do. Come back. He literally snatched the coat out of my hands. And I was like, here's a couple of quid, mate. You know what I mean? Just because it's a nice thing to do. And he was just like, he just sort of looked at me with this sort of like look of, is that fucking it? Look. I was like, you fucking cunt.
Oh, don't. Do you know what? Years ago, I was going past Beggar, local town, Les. Remember him?
Yeah.
I remember Les.
No, beggar Les.
Every time I walk past him, I try and give him a cigarette. I always give him a roll up or whatever. Anyway, one day I was walking past, I had a pack of Bensons. I went to hand him a Benson's Gold. There you go, Les. He goes, only smoke roll-ups. And I thought to myself, that is literally the phrase, beggars can't be choosers. No worries, Shag. Cheero. Fucking prick. But yeah, anyway, Marlon, how's your week been, mate? You sound like you've had a bit of a week of it.
Oh, mate, the week's been fine.
Just today.
Just today. So the boss knows the Escort's dead. Offered to come and pick it up on his trailer. Take it in the workshop. Lovely. Load it all up this morning. Got it into the workshop. Dropped the tank down because it needed a fuel pump. Tested the old fuel pump. Fuel pump's dead.
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 Haven't you replaced that once before?
Yeah.
I'm getting
Yeah.
deja vu.
I was going to say, I'm getting vibes. I was like,
I'm getting flashbacks, like
Have you-
PTSD, all the fuck.
this is the so you say this is the fuel pump in the tank.
Yeah.
You've got one in the engine bay as well.
Nope.
No, just one
Just
there.
single pump
Right.
because it doesn't need a lot of pressure because it's a piece of shit. So put the new fuel pump in,
Yeah.
test it, works lovely. Bolt everything back up, ignition on, no fuel pump. So I'm all right. Right, okay, right. Check the fuse. Fuse is good. Maybe it's blown the fuse, the relay, something.
Yeah.
Relay's good. Clicking in and out. Go to the back where the inertia switch is. So for anyone that doesn't know, the inertia switch is a cut-off switch.
Why do you have one in the back?
It's a 90s Ford, mate.
It's just
It's under the spare wheel.
So you got one in the front and in the back.
No, just one in the back.
What? They're just assuming that only Escort's going to get rear-ended.
Yeah, 'cause they're so fast.
Escort drivers are so good at stopping that they'll never hit anything else.
Oh, I'd
It's because they're so unbelievably slow. You just come up so quick, you just hit them. Or you're so fed up with seeing them, you hit them too.
it's probably the latter of that. So I pulled the spare wheel out, and there's house wiring and chocky block connectors, and they're melted together.
Burn it to the ground.
Melted together.
Burn it all to the
So I
fucking
did
ground.
a inertia switch delete, allegedly. Nobody told the insurance. And then the pump fired.
And that was all it was.
No. But wait,
there's more.
there's more. So, primed it a few times, got fuel up to the front, fired it up. Oh, she was running like a dream for about a minute.
That's like Range Rover, isn't it?
Then it stalled. I restarted it again. It was coughing and spluttering. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? So I was like, I double check my fuel pressure. Oh, it's fine. I double checked the fuel pressure to the rail, which everyone knows fuel's regulated on the return. Yeah, shitloads of fuel pressure. She was lovely. Even did a little filter delete to make sure the filter wasn't blocked. And then I realised the regulator on the rail was seized solid.
Oh, fucked.
So I did a little repair on it, and then it pissed fuel everywhere. And by this time it's 2 o'clock, and I was ready to push it out and set it on fire.
And
Should have done.
Is that where you left it?
Oh yeah, I did the cam belt on it as well.
Still pissed with fuel over the floor now.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
You just walked away from
But the
it.
cam belt's done.
I don't blame you.
The cam, it's got a nice cam belt. I was going to do oil and filter, but I thought there's no fucking point because the piece of shit ain't going to run again.
I've never heard anyone refer to it. It's got a nice camp belt on it.
Big fucking ass.
And a nice new water pump. So anyway, if you're looking at cars like your idle cars, don't fucking buy them.
We're not looking at Escorts, trust us. I
You know,
promise you
like
we're not.
Not them
people
ones
are
anyway.
looking at like their Evos, Escort. Don't buy them
Don't meet your heroes.
No.
Don't meet your heroes.
No.
because they are shit.
They'll break you emotionally and financially.
Oh mate, I was sat on the floor. The boss's wife cried up. And I got you a baguette, sausage and bacon baguette. I was like, oh, thanks. Just crying into me baguette. Like.
Just staring at my Range Rover thinking, fucking hell.
So, yeah, I've now spent another few £100 on it because also the battery's fucked as well. The brand new battery is wanked because it doesn't do anything.
That's because you left it too flat for too long,
yeah,
didn't you?
yeah.
Because you bought the car and put it in your garden and
Yeah.
then did nothing.
Yeah.
Or as he likes to call it, yard art.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it looks pretty.
Oh, she had a pretty old thing, mind you.
and you obviously can't buy OE regulators anymore for them, and I can't find a second-hand one anywhere, so I'm going to have to go with like a Burton Power Special.
He is one wanked out Astra away from a fucking lawn chair and a banjo, isn't he?
I'm ready for a fucking what Ace and Fura GSIs now.
Excuse me, do you know the way the Froome? Back the way you fucking came.
So if anyone wants to buy a broken Escort, hit me up at Doghouse Marlon.
Saying that, if anyone wants to buy a supercharged Range Rover, 440 horsepower, you are more than welcome to
It's
hit
not
me.
440 horsepower.
It fucking is. You
It was.
It was claimed 440 horsepower, not roaded. Hit me up because we just had Oliver Giles over here, and I was looking at his classic, and I'm very much interested.
Yeah,
in
it's
buying
nice
a
big,
It's,
isn't it?
it's very pretty. Yeah. Anyway, enough about our shit. Kirbz, how you been, mate? All right.
Good, mate. I've been driving lots.
Yeah.
Been up to Newcastle. That was
Burning lots
exciting.
of fossil fuels.
Yeah, always. It's a hybrid. Got a
Yeah.
hybrid now, company car.
A hybrid.
It's a con. So what it does, it's classed as a hybrid. It's a
So
total
on
tax
brand.
dodge. What it does is the hybrid part means when you let off the accelerator, if you're just coasting along a straight road, it turns the engine off. It doesn't power anything through electric, but it just turns the engine off sometimes,
Right.
and that's hybrid. And it's cheaper to tax and cheaper to pay for.
Doesn't seem overly intuitive.
Well, it's not my money.
Yeah, but what gets me right? It's like
So
turn the engine off.
It's like one throttle off, one brake.
Yeah, it's like, the auto stop when
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
to
yeah.
traffic lights. It just does that at any speed.
So basically, all it does is just wanks out your starter because it's
Yeah.
just permanently on and off, on and off.
Yeah.
Have you
but
got to buy a special battery for those as well?
Yeah.
There's
you
a
have.
huge one in the
Yeah.
boot. Massive
Like
one.
that.
Really?
Yeah. Huge
Like a
one.
special battery for start-stop like motors.
Start-stop's
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
like AGM, which is aqueous glass mat.
Funny enough, just sort of
denser battery.
a little segue. One thing I did find out from a mechanic not far away from me, that especially with my car being computerized, you need to sort of tell it that you put a new battery on it.
Yeah, it's a new thing.
Yeah, and said mechanic said, "Oh yeah, I'll get the computer from work."
As I said earlier, Gilo, I take right to the government, ask them to add another fucking day in a week.
Oh, like that is it? Like that is it? Eh?
I think we're all sending Marlon to. I got two big problems coming Marlon's way this week.
Yeah, I know.
I am just a big problem.
Literally, why the fuck? What?
He's off.
What
he's
did
off.
Alexa ask me the other day? Oh, how's your life going or something?
Did it actually ask you that?
It was something along those lines. And I was like, to be honest, why the fuck did I join the motor trade? And she's like, I can't answer that for you.
Did she say that as she was going out the window? Like, you know, what I mean, fuck you!
No, because she turns the lights on and off. I can't yeet her.
Are they still called is the lamp
That
still
whole
called the
stand up and
Christmas
push the
tree?
button thing. You can't do that.
You are too dependent on technology.
Well,
I'm saying nothing at this point because my whole house runs on Alexa.
Yeah, we heard about your robot Hoover trying to suck you off at night.
Trust
No,
it.
no, DJ
yo.
Roomba, no.
At 3 o'clock on a Saturday night,
There's no other option. Just
The hungry need to be fed, don't
she
they?
can take a USB cable. She can take me.
oh fucking hell, Gilo, how's your week been, mate?
Interesting week in the office. Work-wise, basic bitch. But I did have one of those moments of not clarity. I'm trying to find the right word for it. But basically, I was
Epiphany.
no, not an
I
epiphany.
think what you were saying, instant karma.
Instant karma, that's what I'm after. Yeah, I was driving. I thought I'd take the back roads home from Taunton the other day. Giggity. Yeah, I was on the A38 coming out of Bridgie,
Yeah.
Adderwood Hybrid, and there was some phallic objects, shall we say? We'll call him Kenneth, driving a very buoyed up BMW with all the weird fucking arches and all the rest of it.
All
Took
the angles.
all the angles on it. You know,
Can we
what I
just
mean?
check where Big Mule was at this point? Because
Oh, no. It gets better. Anyway, your man's literally, I drive a transit van for a living, and I couldn't see him in my rearview mirrors. He was that close. Anyway, he went to shoot past me. The road sort of straightened out a little bit. He shot past me, giving it the big finger. Just as he went to sort of cut back in an aggressive manner, lost the back end, span it round, put it in the ditch.
beautiful, beautiful car.
I fucking, and one of those very rare moments in my life where I actually said the right thing at the right time, Paul, it went, you can't park it there, he's like, fuck you, you break. I was like, yeah, I don't care, fucking drove on, like, you know what I mean? So I suspect on Tuesday when I get back to work, there'll be a letter of complaint with Network Rail for abusing members of the public, but it was a fucking wonderful thing.
Beautiful instant karma.
Beautiful.
It just like he went to go obviously give it a big fucking. Oh, it was fuck you.
He's just going to be late for picking those kids up from secondary school, isn't he? That's all it's going to be, isn't it? Like I'm jumping a beamer. Jump in the fucking ditch, you bitch.
Oh yeah, that was proper. Like it sort of goes in, then like rolls over a little bit, so that's windscreen smashed. The roof sort of bowed in. It's got that.
Oh, it was proper. Then.
Oh, he went down and went over a little bit. Yeah.
Oh,
and of course, with all the concern that I had, I didn't even stop the van. Really, you know what I mean? I just sort of rolled like I got about like a couple of mile an hour, sort of thing. Shouted that at him, and then just bolted up.
Just enough to get your words out.
Oh yeah, that was it. You know what I mean? I was
great.
Like a proper, literal.
Fuck your life!
Fuck your life, bing bong.
what a fucking.
Oh, he was just he was one of those pricks that got the criffy hair. You know that skin tight suit.
Yeah,
and like the sort of like the pointy shoes. He was one of them. You know what I mean?
right.
He's like a middle manager somewhere.
Oh, I know.
What are they called? Pickle ticklers or something?
Yeah, that's it.
It's either that, like when you get BMW drivers like that, they're either like you say, like skin fit suit, or there's cunts in a fucking feeler tracksuit with like the fringe like a tarmacker's rake. You know the ones? Oh man,
Oh, it was a beautiful one.
How's your week, Ben?
Yeah, all right, mate, to be fair.
That's a Beamer, all right?
Yeah. Both Beamers are good.
Well,
I haven't
one of them's
ditched them
written
yet. Yeah, I haven't ditched them yet. Although there's some prick in a transit the other day.
oh Marush.
No, it's been good, mate. Short week as well.
Yeah, that
Nothing's really happened with work or anything.
We had a busy day today, didn't we?
Yeah, helped to make move house today. I realised then that I'm getting old. I thought I could put a day's graft in, but fuck me. Honestly.
Yeah, that's it. All you do is sit at a desk now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's
We all
it.
got to the top of the stairs and we were panting like dogs.
Honestly, the sweat, unreal.
I feel your pain. I went up to Keith's. Was it last weekend?
Oh, was it two weekends
2
ago?
weeks ago, yeah. And Keith kind of roped us into doing like some concrete and put a pad in.
Yeah, yeah.
And I realised that I am old and I'm fat. I'm sitting there shoveling. My hands are gone fucking soft. You know what I mean? I got blisters. My back hurts. I'm bitching like fuck. You know what I mean?
To be fair, we had you on shoveling all day.
I was fucking broken, mate.
I was on pushing wheelbarrows up Keith's fucking 1 in 4 fucking garden. Never again. I thought to myself, I was going to be fucking putting a pad down.
Got a fucking 30-degree incline.
Hour and a half's job, 6 hours I was there, Shag. Fucking horrendous.
Fucking the boss didn't even give us a decent fucking tip either, did he?
No, well,
Fucking set you off.
couple of cans.
No, nothing. Well, you had a couple of cans. You had a shotgun and bless it. You know what I mean? He wouldn't let us stop for long enough. You know what I mean?
Got 3 cans and
I
you
can
got 15
imagine
minutes.
he's like a fucking strict boss.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. He stood at the top shouting his orders while leaning on his rake, wasn't he? You know what I mean?
I know the ones. I know the ones.
He's been a supervisor for too long.
Yeah, oh yeah. Even had his black hat on then, didn't he? You know what I mean? Love you, Keith. Love you.
Right then, should we bust into this?
The meat and 2 veg of the episode.
The meat and 2 veg of the episode. We have returned for Conspiracies Part 2.
You lot fucking wanted it.
We're bringing it. We're bringing it.
yeah.
We're bringing the conspiracies. Right. So, bringing back our resident conspiracy theory expert.
Oh, God,
Kirbz.
that's a lot of pressure, that is.
Well, you were on for the last one. You brought some fire. So, who wants to kick us off?
I mean, I'll go first.
All right, then,
Go
Marlon.
on.
You got your notes up.
I got my notes up. So
Tell me more.
Tell me more.
This is looking a professional setup.
Wow,
He's
look at
got
that.
a 3-point power presentation.
You can tell they get paid to do this.
Put it on the big TV.
We're out big time.
I did try to print it earlier and the printer didn't work. So sorry for the orders that didn't go out today. Roswell. Does anyone know anything about Roswell?
The Roswell Incident.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
American government claimed it was a weather balloon. But there are a lot of conflicting things. And the problem is with Roswell nowadays is that there's become an entire industry built around it. So, you know, you go there and everyone will be like, yeah, the aliens.
The aliens landed here.
This is a bold
Have a
one.
look at that alien cafe.
You've gone for a bold one, Marlon, because there's a whole load of rabbit holes around Roswell.
You can open up a lot of shit with that.
That's the problem.
Didn't they first actually say that it was a UFO?
Oh, wow, no, wow.
Oh, whoa, shut
What, let me...
What was it, 67? 60 something
No,
like that?
50.
47.
47.
Give us the
47.
Was it
Some at
47?
7.
Ooh. All right,
So, let me set the scene here.
Paint a picture
So,
in my mind. Go on.
It's 1947.
Oh,
So we're at the peak of UFO sightings in the US.
right.
There were around 300 leading up to this in I think 3 to 6 months. About.
Can I just interject
Yeah.
quickly? Do you know why the theory of that is?
Because of the war.
Not only that, do you know why?
Because there was aliens
Gilo?
about.
Aliens.
It's because we set off the 2 first nuclear atomic bombs. And the theory is that the aliens saw us set off these nuclear bombs and they're like, holy shit, they've got the power to kill themselves.
Some say they come and have a quick look just to make sure we're not being complete idiots.
That was why, because they reckon they realized that we had nuclear power and they were like, oh, fucking hell.
Do you
Like,
know-
these monkeys have finally got the power to destroy the entire planet.
Apparently recently, because of the Ukraine stuff that's going on, there has been more sightings again. Because, again, it's the tinfoil hat community that are going, but
Oh, I left my
there
tinfoil
has been
hat at
apparently, there's been more reported sightings because there's a war going on, so they say they're just coming to make sure we're not going to kill ourselves.
Ooh,
Do you know what? I want to actually launch a nuke just to see.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like
Double
that.
down. Let's do it.
Go
That's what
back to
happens.
45, we can...
They check we're not being stupid. That's why there's so many above Marlon's house with an escort on the door.
Fuck your life. Right, anyway, so in a little town called
FEM.
Roswell,
Oh,
New Mexico, something crashed in one of the fields belonging to Boston Ranch. So I'll start a timeline now. Something crashed around the 14th of June in 47. Now, this was not discovered until the 4th of July by Mac Brazel, who was a rancher at the ranch. Basically, from the early interviews, he found strong, thin metal strips, unbendable metal strips.
I've heard about this. It was like the thickness of foil.
Yeah.
That you couldn't bend
Couldn't
them.
bend it. He couldn't sink a sledgehammer into it. It wouldn't bend. He also found some strange rubber-like strips, as well as alien-like bodies. Right. July
Is it the greys? Is it the greys?
July 7th, Mac takes some of the debris to the local sheriff. Sheriff Wilcox, which was his name, then contacts Butch Blanford of the US Air Force. He was located at the nearby base of Roswell,
Right.
which was home of like the, please don't screw at me, 500 and something bombardier people,
Right.
which actually dropped the nukes.
Oh. Oh, see, it ties in. It all ties in.
Blanford immediately contacts his superior, a General Roger Ramsey, who then contacts his superior, Major Marcel, who is he's like the intelligence officer.
So basically, we're going up the chain.
Yeah. The bullshit's going up. Like,
I think there's going to be a whole lot of something's landed, we don't know what it is, and the supervisor's gone, fuck if I want to deal with that. Up to the
Yeah.
next.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's it. So Marcel, who's the intelligence officer, then visits the crash site, relaying his information to his superior, Blanford. Blanford then contacts, on the 8th of July, the press office, basically telling them to drop a press release. We found, and I quote, a flying saucer, and they have it in their presence. Possession. That's it. Nothing else was said bar that, and that was released on the Roswell Times.
Quick question. Was there any pictures?
That's a negatory. It's a
Can
crash.
you imagine? Can you imagine if they got fucking photographs?
It's a rough time because there were cameras, but in
Yeah,
that
there-
area were there photographers.
Yeah,
Probably
that's it.
Big farmland.
It wouldn't have been a thing that people would have had in their possession, like, you know.
It's not like today.
Was it the 40s, wasn't it? 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, late 40s.
They
Late
only
40s.
just invented the wheel back then, didn't they?
No, we had tanks and shit.
Colour wasn't invented then on the telly.
Whole world was black and white. Everything was black and white.
So, after they've released the press release, they changed their story. Same day, they changed their story. Ramsey orders all crash debris to be brought to him in Texas Fort Worth, which is where he was based, for his own personal inspection.
Right.
So, once he looks at it, he says it's a weather balloon, allegedly.
Right.
Is he the only one that looked at it?
No.
It'd been a secure team, but he'd have been the name.
Continue.
Of the,
Yeah.
July 9th, upon release of the new information,
You're doing really well.
Shagnuts, who found it, was basically humiliated. Old Matt Brazel. They kind of called him out, called him an idiot a little bit. He was basically made to say he found strips of foil and strips of rubber.
I think they're made to look crazy, weren't they?
Yeah, they always are.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Alex Jones.
Well, yeah. But
If you discredit them,
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
So at this point, when Ramsey backs him up, everyone forgets about it. Until 1978, 31 years later, Stanton Friedman, who is a nuclear physicist
yeah,
and a UFO, no, it's not enthusiast, UFO researcher, that's probably the right word.
right.
Right.
He goes around, interviews everyone again. Marcel, now being retired, not tied by anything, fully believes it was not a weather balloon.
So 31 years later, this comes out.
Yeah, because obviously when you're in the US Air Force, etc., you can't
you
say...
have to wait for the people to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, but aren't
and
they
be
can
brave
say
as well.
Aren't they still
everything.
sort of like the American version of the Official Secrets Act? Aren't they still tied in with that?
Yes.
Obviously, Marcel didn't really give a fuck by that point.
Well, you say that as it's the same about Bob Lazar, isn't it?
I was
Yeah.
going to mention Bob
He was,
Lazar
he was
after this.
literally the same, yeah.
Yeah.
So when old Stanton asked him about the material, and I quote, "It felt like you had nothing in your hands. It wasn't any thicker than the foil out of a packet of cigarettes. But the thing about it, the thing that got me, is you couldn't even bend it. You couldn't dent it. Not a sledgehammer would touch it."
That's the same quote that I've heard about it. It's
This bloke was well versed in everything.
It's so weird.
And these are farmer guys. They know what they're dealing with.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
This is farm country. They're not idiots.
Oh no, this was the intelligence officer.
Oh, the
saying
intelligence
that.
officer.
No,
And he obviously, throughout his career, he was an intelligence officer, so he had to know what every single plane was made of, all the new materials coming
yeah.
through, sort of thing.
The thing is, it doesn't take a genius. You know anything thin. It doesn't matter. It could be whatever the strongest metal in the world is. You'll get a bend.
Yeah.
You will get a bend.
It'd be titanium, it could be
Yeah.
anything, manganese,
Yeah.
whatever.
If it's foil thin, you'll snap it.
That's it.
Yeah. So, a few more years pass, and then in 1994, it all comes out. There actually was a cover-up of this situation. I think it's the best thing to call it. The
Incident.
incident. That's good. I like that. The US puts out a statement or a file. The reports say that the wreckage found on the ranch was actually remains of a weather balloon, but not just any weather balloon. A top secret microphone mission balloon ship.
All right.
So basically, they sent up. So it was called Project Mogul. They sent up hybrid balloons with listening devices on them.
Yeah.
Let me guess. To spy on the Ruskies.
How did you know that?
Well, because
the common motherfuckers.
it's the end of the war, and everything that is, based. Everything after the war is kind of.
We didn't trust him during the war. and
yeah,
then
that's
after
the
the war,
angle,
we didn't
angle
trust
towards
him.
the
Yeah, you go
Russians.
from World War II to Cold War.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, they were airborne monitoring systems basically to detect any nuclear testing carried out by the Soviets.
With
so-
a microphone.
Yeah, but it's to pick up. It's not to pick up like me and you talking. It's to pick
Yeah.
up sonic booms, isn't it?
Yeah, they ain't got an SM-7B up there.
I know. I'm
But-
really struggling with this at the moment. I do apologise for anyone that's hearing a lot of S's.
The thing is, why would they release like this thing saying, "Oh, yeah, actually, there was a cover-up"? Is it literally like, look over
Yeah,
here? Don't look over here.
It's a
look
double
over
bluff,
here.
isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
double
Well, they
bluff.
call it. It's a red herring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the point in releasing something if they're not worried? Because
Yeah.
if they're not worried, they could let everyone talk
No,
and they could say the original story, it was a weather balloon, shut up.
Give them something. That's the
Yeah.
main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, feed them a little bit. And
Yeah. That's it.
You got more? Or you done?
Yeah, I got a little
Keep going.
bit more.
Keep going.
So, February 94, Steve Schiff, who was a congressman and UFO skeptic, launches an investigation with the money people of the government.
The money people.
The money people.
As in, like...
treasurers.
US Treasury. US Treasury.
Yeah, the army and shit. He basically just wanted to locate and prove that they sent certain balloons up in certain places.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and that wasn't found.
Oh.
Right.
You'd think if they were going to say, oh, you know, this is all a Russian, this is all to look out for the Russians, you think that they would back that up by saying, you know, yes, there was a whole thing here, but then they're like, look into it, and no, that was never a...
Correct me if I'm wrong as well, but didn't the town of Roswell, basically the black vans turned up once after, I think it was after 2 or 3 days, once it got to the top, to this commander, the town got taken over and everyone was hushed.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Marlon, the expert on this topic, but I believe it was the Men in Black, wasn't it?
Yes. They turned up and raided everyone's houses to make sure nobody had taken any wreckage.
And that's all over a weather balloon that was just listening for nukes.
Allegedly a weather balloon.
Is potentially because, you know, the Cold War hadn't kicked off then, but there was clearly something in it.
But, absolutely, yeah. It was the tensions were high.
This team we'd never heard of before, and nukes had only just basically been invented.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to believe.
Yeah.
See, I'm on to something here.
Yeah, I'm on to something. You and about 40,000 million other people are on to something.
That's it. Also, moving on from the no money trail thing, upon old Matt Brazel actually finding alien bodies in exclamation, not in
quotation marks.
Nothing was found. What they tried to do was tie that to some parachute testing they did in the 50s of dropping 6 foot, not 4 foot, dummies from high heights with parachutes.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
That happened to be grey with massive heads and little bodies.
To be fair, it's really easy to distinguish.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, there's 2 foot in there, Shag.
I'm going to say a mannequin opposed or a crash dummy opposed
plastic
to a
doll versus something probably organic.
Even if you chuck
chuck
the Cabbage Patch doll down, you know what I mean? It's you know what I mean?
Highly distinguishable.
That's it. You know what I mean?
What was the height they dropped it from, though? 6 foot when it started, 4 foot when it landed.
It had a parachute on.
Oh, it had a parachute. Oh, okay.
Didn't work too well.
Because apparently they had photos of the being that they took back.
The Greys.
Which have apparently been debunked as fake, haven't they?
Well, they're going to say
it's
that.
It's debunked in quotes, isn't it? That's how they filter this shit out.
Just makes you wonder what they did to it. I know what I would have done to it.
Steady.
I'm right there, sister. I would have done exactly the same, you know what I mean?
We're going to make some babies tonight.
Now, moving on a little bit further, same year, they basically tried to find all of the files from the Roswell air base at this time. They've all gone.
Oh, they've been lost, have they?
No, they've been gone. They've been destroyed.
They've been gone.
Oh, how convenient.
They've had no sign-off. So when you have something destroyed, you basically have the courier that comes and picks it up, which is going to the company that's going to be destroyed. They sign it, and then a superior signs it. On the paperwork, nobody signs shit. Nobody knows where it's gone.
I think we'll probably all universally agree that paper's not gone. We know people just don't.
That's it.
Yeah.
That stuff just disappears, and you can understand that. And there's stuff that we don't need to know. We don't really want to know because it'll probably help us at some point.
Yeah.
It just gets hidden.
Yeah.
And I can take that.
Yeah.
Simple as that. People know more than we know. They're not going to let us know. They know.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
That's
If
it.
we know, then
all
people
of the
that we might
files
not want to know.
before
Yeah, that's
and
it.
after it
Are still there.
are still there.
Yeah.
It's just that little slot in history
Well,
is
what was it?
completely gone.
2019, the Navy or whatever it was, America or whatever, released the 3 videos, didn't they? Made them public.
That was the Tic Tac.
Yeah,
Was the Tic
flying
Tac
Tic Tac, yeah.
UFO from pilots, and you can hear the
the Nimitz
audio,
Nimitz
the audio from the pilots. Literally, like, what the fuck is that?
I can't remember the full
speed
detail,
it's
but next
traveling,
time.
locking on and all that thing. And you just think, well, A, why would they release it just to keep people interested? But
there's
B,
been a
if it
big
was
freedom-
legit, would you release it? I don't know. It's a funny one, isn't it?
There has been
Yeah.
a big freedom of information stuff that's come out, and some of the stuff's passed. This alien stuff is starting to creep out
Yeah.
now because there's people that are starting to speak, and there's nothing they can do about it. So
Yeah.
what they'd rather do is release some stuff because essentially this is the pilot. I can't give you the full details now.
Yeah.
This is the
You want
pilot.
about the
that's-
Nimitz?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've seen this Tic Tac. It's basically jammed their radars. It's turned up at all the training, so they have pinpoints on the map saying we're going to do this training exercise. We're going to go here. They've gone to one and it was waiting, then it disappeared.
Yeah, it turned
and
up at all their rendezvous
It's
points.
something before they get
something's
there,
there. So they'll admit that, but there's still no proof of what it. Nobody can tell you what it was.
They were
Because
saying
even the pilots,
the
said
speed
it's a
it
thing.
got to the second point when they're in jets that
It was
are like
instant.
fast. Yeah, they were like, "How the fuck did it get there?"
Well, so I watching something about it, and they were saying it just defies every law of
Everything.
gravity.
Oh,
every
100%,
law of gravity.
Just before that, when the Tic Tac stuff happened, the reason they were almost semi-aware of it is they were these. I believe the planes were sent out from a ship that was in the middle of the sea doing training exercises.
Yeah, it was.
For the past week or two, they've been seeing just random shit pop up on their radar underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like bottom of the sea sort of stuff, and they
It was
obviously
the
they can't
US.
check
It was the USS Princeton with
That
the
was
new,
it,
with
yeah.
the new advanced sonar system.
So it wasn't
but
like a new thing. It was was just the Tic Tac was just the sort of the tip of the iceberg.
yeah.
of
But that's
what
where they've
been
seen
seeing.
them emerge from the water. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's
Yeah,
right.
because they
Well,
reckon it can pass through. It can pass through air as fast as it can pass through
It's on
water.
that
It's
gravity
crazy.
level, isn't it? It's not using.
But it's like I was
Stuff we
watching.
can understand.
Like looking at that, they were saying that what it was doing when the jets first got there, it was just literally just below the surface, just doing loops, doing circles.
Yeah.
And then one of the jets peeled off and started doing a loop as well, and then it raised out of the water and started almost mimicking what the other jet was doing.
It's just playing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just playing with them. You know what I mean? And then they were saying as it was flying along, it was then just flipping upside down and exactly the same speed, no
And
change in
who
speed.
knows? They're just testing. Just
Sure, the
saying.
aliens just fucking with us.
Yeah, mate. If there's something that my
if you had shit like that, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
You know what I
really
mean?
mess with them. Is
my,
it we
my-
just copy
honestly,
them?
my belief is there's clear. I think there's probably something out there. It clearly, if it can come to
There
this planet
has
and
to
do
be.
that,
You
sort
got to
of
be
stuff,
quite small-minded to think there isn't.
Yeah,
any.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
way
yeah.
way
No, you're
more
absolutely
advanced
right,
than
Neil.
us. So why would it not fuck with us? If it wanted us gone, it probably could.
Yeah.
because it's made it to our planet already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but in
the
respect to
technology
those,
comes with that.
are they from up there or are they actually from down
Well,
there?
Illuminati confirmed.
Right. I'll just square this off a little bit. Basically, over 600 people were involved in this somewhere or another. They either seen something, handled something. But I think they
Involved in
saw,
some
I
way.
think they saw something. Why did the press issue recant itself?
I think what they're probably worrying about is just mass hysteria. And obviously, once
But
it's
why
out there,
release that in the first place?
As a counter argument, they could have.
The thing is, they're not told they can't until they're told they can't by
But
the higher
the-
powers.
the Men in Black.
I would also
Exactly
say at
right.
this time,
They'll
they
get
didn't,
slapped,
aliens
won't they?
weren't such a thing. They could have said it might have been the Russians. So, and we didn't want to let them know that the Russians have crash landed, which means the Russians have made it here without us knowing.
Yeah.
So they might have just covered it up because it was some, and that is a counter argument.
Just
control the
Yeah.
information.
If there's not any backing
But
behind that.
do you know
words,
why?
but
Do you
that might
know
have been
why
the
their
thought.
military planes are so fast? Because they're Russian. Sorry about that.
Get him out.
End me. And make it stop now.
So, as I was saying, the person who released the press thing was U.S. fucking army.
Ah,
Why was that recanted? Then Brazel, who the bloke who found it, all of a sudden bought a new truck. Then bought some land and started a new business.
yeah. All makes sense, doesn't it?
And then one more key point here, I feel. Marcel, who was the intelligence officer, he was forced to pose with some material,
Ooh.
basically of a weather balloon.
I see.
Just saying, oh yeah, this is what we found. That later turns out that was bullshit, and that was not what they found.
Thing
he,
is-
he was forced to pose in front of something that was.
The thing is, if you think about it, you got all these current new age preppers. You've seen preppers, you know preppers.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking love preppers.
Preppers, yeah. If they said, "All right, fuck it, yeah, it's real," you know, it was a crash. We've seen shit. It's real. What percent of the population would be like, "Oh my fucking god"? Do you know what I mean?
I think not many. because people, I think the thing is, I think the news would cover it up like they did the Roswell.
Yeah.
Only the few, probably the tinfoil hat people would know way ahead of us. The people that think that we're still controlled by lizards, although most of them are idiots, they believe everything. They'd probably be the safe ones.
That's it. My end thing on this is, I got two theories. I got two outcomes. It wasn't a weather balloon, was it?
No.
It's either going to be aliens or a Soviet spy plane of
Do you know what? Can I throw a third one in?
Go on.
It could have been actually a American secret project that's gone wrong. So it's easier to make it sound like it's either alien or it was Russian. Just so it doesn't look like
But it's not.
fucked someone
It's
up.
not this. Yeah.
It
What
could be a total out of whack prototype thing, because they do say a lot of the say a new jet, top of the line jet was released today. They say anything released generally from any military is usually about 30 years old.
Yeah.
So
What?
The technology is about 30 years old.
Yeah.
because it has to be perfected. I mean, if it's going into a war zone, it has to be perfect.
Yeah,
we
it's
can't
idiot-proof.
just go in,
Well,
try and fly a new
it
plane
took
and blow
about
it up.
20 years to develop the SR-71, the Blackbird, didn't it?
Yeah.
And again, you know, all these sort of top secret jets, it's easier just to sort of go, oh yeah, that might have been a UFO, or it's Russian, or it's, you know, anything that it isn't, that says it isn't it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it could be just be smoke with fucking mirrors.
It's thing is, with these military things, the cleverest people in the world are working on these things, and there's technology that we'll never probably know about. Again, this goes back to the Tic Tac stuff. There could be something that uses, rather than propulsion, it's gravity or something that our government know about. Maybe it's from the Roswell incident. That's where they learned it. Maybe it's not. We'll never know until 30, 40 years' time when they can release it because they've perfected it and it's usable. Or, I mean, forget the Ukraine almost for a moment because we're not using our own military. We're just handing stuff out.
Yeah.
If there's no war, they'll never see it because why would we show it off?
Yeah,
unless you need it.
Right.
So there may be stuff out there.
It sort of ties in with like what was like Bob Lazar and that was saying. You know, all the stuff that they were taking apart.
Yeah.
And they were just throwing teams and teams and teams of people at it. Eventually, someone's going to go or get lucky.
He wasn't even a proper. He was just a jet enthusiast, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He was a propulsion enthusiast.
He's a.
But that's what they throw at it,
wasn't it? Yeah, they just threw everybody at it, and then
It doesn't need a guy with a Harvard degree. It needs a guy that thinks outside the box sometimes.
And that's exactly the reason why Bob Lazar got the job.
Yeah,
because he made
100%.
a jet-powered Honda.
Yeah, he drove it around to the shops
Somebody
as well.
had to.
Yeah, hey. Got one parked outside, yo. You know what I mean?
Hey, yo, take me out for dinner, baby.
Same technology in fly mows these days, isn't it?
Well, so I definitely think that was aliens anyway.
Oh, yeah, flat out alien.
Yeah.
I got one.
Go on, then.
Shag Harbour.
You're going to have to tell me more.
Shag Harbour, ladies and gentlemen.
I think I've been there.
I'm
Is that
interested.
the
That's right,
Nonce Island?
Yeah, it's Epstein and, you know what I mean? And Sweaty Andy. No, it's not. What it Sweaty Andy.
all of us just perked up then.
Talking about nonsense.
No, it's no, back in 1964 in Nova Scotia, a place called Shag Harbour, and there was they'd seen lights in the sky, sort of over a period of a few weeks. Anyway, one of these sets of lights crashed into the sea, and there was eyewitnesses and what have you. The Canadian Mountain Police went out to find it, couldn't find anything. Sent divers down, couldn't see anything. Now, the Americans have got something called a security net, which is basically a massive listening network for Russian submarines. And it picks up sonar and noises, and it's all big, massive hydrophones. And basically this object was picked up, hitting the water, went to sort of a couple of miles out, and sat there for a week. And then they've seen a few more alien, UFO.
This was near Canada, right?
This is in Canada.
Oh, so they were just apologising to it,
Oh,
probably.
yeah. Here, gay. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Hey,
it was
sorry.
sorry, gay.
Gay.
Sorry. But yeah, and then
Hey,
sorry about this. But yeah, they'd seen sort of objects in the sky for about a week, and then all of a sudden there was an eyewitness of an object or lights hovering above the sea, and then all of a sudden another object came out of the sea and shut off. And to this day, they're saying it's alien. Everybody's saying, "Oh, it was this, it was that, it was something else." You know, the light sun shining off Uranus. I don't know. You know what I mean? It could
The
be
bottom line is there was a light over the sea and something shot at the sea, probably at speed, and
at
people saw
speed,
it.
and then poof, off it went.
But it's another one. Is it from
and
up
what does
there or
that?
is it from down there?
That's it. It could have been.
And the biggest thing is, what does that we know of?
Nothing can transfer from.
We haven't got anything that can shoot out of the water into the sky.
No, nothing like that.
We haven't got an air submarine.
Well, I know
An air submarine.
a submarine. I know a bit about submarines. I used to build them. Not me personally. I was a couple of people. I just made,
your fault.
I just made
yeah.
the tea.
What happened in that fucking levee down there?
Yeah, what happened was
It's Gilo's fault.
Yeah, so I just forgot to turn it. Meant to turn it right, went left. You know it.
Lost a couple of rivets, like.
And then the Germans lost the war.
You're welcome. Yeah, no. Basically, you got to think like submarine technology that we have at the moment is, you know, it's still big metal tubes moving at about 20 or 30 knots. You know, nothing.
What's that in real Muppahers?
I couldn't tell you. I would prefer to Reg to sit there and try and work out a. You know it or not?
What knots?
That's right.
Knots to mip it out.
Oh, you can't really convert the two because knots knots take into account the speed of the tide.
Anyway,
and shit.
Reg doesn't know. So
Sounds like this maths.
Fuck you, like! Bing bang!
Popo shut
It's
me
one,
down.
it works out 1.15 mile per hour to 1 knot.
Knots.
So let's.
So it's roughly bang on, basically.
Yeah, let's round it down.
So it's moving at. You're still thinking. You're looking at 15,000 tons moving at 20 to 30 miles an hour. Yeah,
That's
give or
fucking.
take.
That's dog shit. My note goes faster.
But the Escort doesn't.
Got him.
But yeah, so there is nothing, you know, that is hydrodynamic enough, or with that sort of propulsion to be able to do that. You know, jump out. I know the Japanese were fucking about trying to make flying submarines back in the Second World War.
They fucked around
Yeah.
with a lot of shit.
But the thing is, nobody's done it. And
No.
to this day, we still can't.
They made an underwater aircraft carrier. It like carried like 2 planes.
But the aircraft couldn't come out from underwater and just...
No.
that's the thing.
Surface open. And
It's
off they went, like, you know what I
there's
mean?
one thing like getting out of the water and maybe going a few meters, but it's actually flying quickly up into...
Well, I think the nearest to anything like that was the Akranaplan, the Russian Akranaplan. You ever see that?
yes.
To explain.
It basically was a boat, but with little stubby wings, and
Right.
it would fly a few feet above
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, but
I'm
it
assuming
wasn't
this thing-
a submarine.
It wasn't a submarine.
This thing went up clearly. I don't know,
it
but
just
this went up at a rate of knots enough to...
They said it was just
and
straight
it was up and gone.
Yeah, up,
Yeah.
gone, fucked off. That
Yeah.
was
On and
it.
gone, shag.
I think the
shag.
fastest man-made thing underwater is what's it called? A Tor?
Dolphin.
No,
Tortoise.
No, a Tor.
Tour de force.
You came in strong.
You sounded confident.
It's like a rocket. It's a Tor.
There's this.
Took you a minute. Fucking nonsense.
Oh, dear.
You fell into that one, shag.
Well, it's not the first time.
I think that's the Russians have come up with a torpedo called the Shkval, which will do something like 70 knots underwater.
That's fucking
But
fast.
it's highly volatile, and it's just, you know.
That's not going to be that
No.
accurate as well.
Oh, it's not. It's just
Coming
straight
from
line.
the Russians.
I know,
highly volatile. Anyone remember the Kursk?
We'll come on to
happened there,
that.
Shag?
We'll come on to that one later. Yeah. So Shag Harbour. That was it.
That
It's totally believable, isn't it?
It is. But
I mean, it's unexplainable. That's
we,
the
that's
thing.
it. As Kirbz said, it's unexplainable. We have nothing that can do that.
no.
That we know of, that I will say.
oh,
just
yeah,
as
yeah,
a-
yeah,
yeah.
I-
But-
you know,
The authorities turned around and said it just didn't happen. They just kind of went, didn't happen.
which makes you think even more, doesn't it?
Hey,
Hey,
hey, guy.
I don't know.
Yeah,
What
everybody
you're
got
talking about.
apologised to profusely. They're still apologising to this day. They got the maple syrup and they're good.
Yeah, but they interviewed the
we love you, Johnny, and old school trucking it.
Have we got a Canadian?
Yeah, we
Yeah, we
took
got
two of them.
token Canadians. Yeah, so the Mountie said yes, we saw it because they actually saw it hit the water. So everybody was on the same page. There was no discrepancies in any of the stories, but the governments just went, no, didn't happen. That was it. Peace and love.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's either they've got something to do with it.
Do you know what?
or-
That's almost a better response than trying to make some bullshit cover up, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quick question. When it comes to things leaving the water and
Yeah.
going that same speed from the water to the air.
Yeah.
When it might sound stupid, when you fire a nuclear weapon
Yeah.
from a submarine,
Yeah.
do they do that when they're surfaced?
No, they have a there's a 2-stage launch system, like a
Marlon's Escort.
but you have because
That's gonna have a 2-stage fire.
but basically with a submerged launch, it's compressed air. What they'll do is they'll put a bubble of compressed air above the projectile coming out.
Yeah.
Because
And then
there's
it will
no
spit it
oxygen
out.
to burn underneath.
Yeah, but it actually gets the water out of the way, so it will launch quicker and
So
faster.
there is the underwater
So
thing.
These rats are very clever.
yeah, that's it. And obviously then it will
Well,
go
there's the
through.
underwater welders in there, so they can get
Yeah,
some
yeah,
sort
yeah.
of flame, which means
Yeah,
probably
well,
propulsion underneath.
use
yeah.
it's hydrogen.
Yeah.
I am learning so much.
Well, the underwater welding is just it's a hydrogen. It's
That
a
means there
hydrogen
must be.
held-
I don't know if that's the same principle or not, but there's probably somewhere getting propulsion if their hydrogen fuel can burn underwater.
Yeah, that's true.
There's I don't really remember the film Hunt for Red October with Sean Connery back in '87, I think.
I wasn't born, and I don't.
Red October Standing Man.
For the
Was that in black and white?
for the adults listening.
That's when Sean Connery had black hair.
No, he didn't. No, he was the Grey Fox.
Even back then.
Oh yeah, mate. He was. Do you know?
that motherfucker old as dirt.
We're dead now, Shag. You know what I mean?
That motherfucker dead.
It's when Alec Baldwin still had black hair, though. To be fair.
Alec Baldwin, pew pew. Blah, blah, blah. You better not talk back.
But there was basically the story behind it was there was a phantom Russian submarine, like what's known as a Typhoon,
That
massive grade.
didn't blow itself up.
That didn't blow itself up, and it had a propulsion system which rendered it completely silent.
Well, it's like a diesel electric, isn't it?
No, it was a hydromagnetic. Oh God, fuck! I just said it then. Hydrodynamic magneto drive or something like that. Basically, it was like a jet engine, but it didn't have any moving parts.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's through science and
It was magic and wizardry.
magic and witchcraft. It
Fucking science, Reg, right?
basically,
Just accept it.
but basically, I think it worked by baffle plates, and there's like they would sort of crack the hydrogen in the water because obviously H2O, 2 hydrogen, oxygen. No, other way around, hydrogen, 2 oxygen. Sorry, but it would compress the water and then screw out the back end. Now, giggity.
Compressed water.
Basically,
I wonder where they got these scientists from. Nazi Germany.
but basically, the Russians, a lot of people say it's all bullshit and hokum, but the Russians ordered or built, supposedly, allegedly, 7 Typhoon class submarines. Only 6 of them were named. Nobody knows about the 7th. It had a number. There was an order. All this, that, and everything else.
But it was never named
It was
or
never named.
And I got sent to the Colombians for shipping fucking coke over.
That's it. Pablo's fucking yacht, that was. But yeah, supposedly that was there was a mythical 7th submarine, and in the film it's called Typhoon 7. So you know, what I mean, it's
got some legs.
It's got some in. There's some in there. I really tried to look into it, and I couldn't find fuck all about it. But supposedly there was this super stealth propulsion system on a submarine that could literally decimate the west coast of America. So something happened to it. If it existed, we don't know. But there's evidence to prove that it did. And if you look up the hydromagnetic drive, what's known as a caterpillar drive, that does exist.
If it's Googleable, it's possibly true.
That's it. But there's scientists in where was it? I can't remember.
Norwich.
No, it's in America. It wasn't far from where you were, I think, actually. They did it on the North.
There's no clever people in Florida. can confirm.
I think it was like California way, actually. But yeah,
No clever people there either.
No, it's probably not. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm scared of all of them. I think North at Broads was probably, definitely a good call. But yeah, so they reckon they've researched it and they've made it work. but it's a theoretical system. But
Yeah,
they
but having
reckon-
something
Let's
that
put it
work in
into-
theory is totally different. Having it work
Putting it into actual action is, and physically, and making it work in something usable as well. Is that
Yeah,
you've
but
got
you
to make it reliable then as well.
In
the
theory,
size of
the
the
Escort should run.
yeah, that's it.
In reality, it
It
doesn't.
doesn't. But they were saying that it would need. It was a massive, great thing. So
Maybe it's just not
basically-
sustainable to use.
probably not. But you know, I mean, it's you got to think those Typhoon class submarines were basically two submarines bolted together.
Yeah.
So massive submarine, mythical number 7. Who knows? You know what I
It
mean?
did like the big, there were these super weapons, weren't there? The
Yeah, yeah,
tanks
yeah.
that were the size of houses
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah,
The
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember the name of the German one. but
Gustav gun.
That's it.
That's
The
it.
one that was on the railroad.
Yeah, well, it was there was the Super Tiger.
That was it. Yeah.
I like the
There was a lot of
Russian
concepts, and these
upside-down
were
tank.
made. They were concepts
Yeah,
that
yeah,
were
yeah.
made. So there is stuff like this. Because bigger used to be better. Now,
that's it.
It's chuck the biggest missile you can on a
Well,
tiny
that's it.
drone, isn't it?
And that's why that's why those Typhoon class submarines were built.
Yeah.
Because they could just literally decimate
Load her
everything
up.
in one
They,
hit.
they thought if it's bigger and it's got more armor and it's heavier, nothing
Yeah.
can touch it because essentially it couldn't at the time.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't an armor penetrating drone that can take you out from.
Oh no,
base
no, no,
almost.
there's nothing like that. But it was, like I said, it's one of those ones. It's like there's potential.
Yeah.
there's potential for them.
Yeah, there's something behind the story.
Yeah,
There's
so
something-
like I said, I
something
couldn't really find a lot in. I kept getting fucking Hunt for Red October fucking references every time I fucking googled it. But yeah, that was that. That was that on me also.
Well, I'm very intrigued.
I got a very well. Since we've had two ones that are possibly likely and stuff, I'm going to give a complete bullshit one in my opinion.
Love it.
But just in
Yes,
case,
Kirbz.
just in case, and it's sort of on topic, I'm going to go with we never landed on the moon.
That's a brave one.
It's so this isn't coming from me, and just I'm going to clear myself out of this one. I think it's bollocks, but there are some small things that have legs that actually aren't on me on my homework that Marlon made me do.
And not be funny, like the homework that I did is fuck all compared to what you've
Oh
done.
no, I haven't got a 5-point
Jesus
PowerPoint
Christ. That's it.
presentation.
It is. That's fucking flat out, isn't it?
So basically, in 1969, we all know NASA landed astronauts on the moon. It was televised. We all saw it. We've seen the videos. We see them every single time. It's the first thing you see when it comes to the moon. But in the early 70s, the conspiracy came out that we never landed on the moon, and it came out in books. In 76, there was a self-published book called "We Never Went to the Moon," original name. And there's documentaries still coming out today. I think the biggest one recently, I say today, it's 2001. For me, that still feels like yesterday.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think we're all growing up a bit too quick now, aren't we? But a lot of it went debunked. Mainly the fact that we did have tons and tons of material that we brought back from the room, from the moon, not the room.
The room on the moon.
We brought the material back. It went to all the scientists across the world, and they all said, "Don't know what this is, extraterrestrial, blah blah blah." The question does beg: we didn't have that much capacity to bring tons and tons of this stuff,
No.
technically, because this was a lucky,
Yeah.
Well,
we didn't have diggers out there picking up
No.
tons of material.
You're
But
absolutely right.
they
Did
are
the
saying-
astronauts actually come back?
Yes, yeah, they all came back.
There was
Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and the other guy.
Peter
Yeah.
Kay.
So they were saying, how did NASA
It was
get these
Sting.
rocks? That,
Giant steps up, what you take, walking on the moon.
We say we're like there weren't JCBs and shit out there, but
there weren't.
how dense was the?
It's not. It's powdery. It's rock, but it's quite powdery.
like
I mean, from what
dusty.
we've all seen the videos, when they land,
it's like
powder.
foam block for
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah, thermalite.
Yeah,
shit.
thermalite. That's the
But
one.
it has been sent to scientists across the world, and they've said it's extraterrestrial. So maybe it's a bigger conspiracy that the whole.
So moving on from that, because Gus Grissom, should I say? Some sources, some people say that he was assassinated because he was going to say that we didn't. We were in a warehouse.
Yeah, well, that was the
all
thing.
set
So
out
this
that
is
stuff.
another thing. There were videos released so they recreated the moon in warehouses. They created the.
Yeah, it was
Obviously, you can't create anti-gravity, but they can do it on ropes and stuff. And there were
Stanley
videos
fucking
released
Kubrick.
that looked exactly like the moon land. They've openly said this is moon landing. This is the ones that we were doing the testing on, and they almost did make fake videos, and they do look like you would struggle to, especially back then. You would struggle to tell
Yeah.
on the TVs because they weren't HD and stuff.
Yeah, no 4K. Like
So there is potentially something there that not every single video you saw was from the moon. Possibly, because there's a lot of videos and whatever. But the funny bit I did find when I was briefly looking into this, so many astronauts have been offended by the implication that they faked the moon.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
In 2002, a conspiracy theorist named Bart Sibrel confronted Buzz Aldrin. He called him a coward and a liar for faking the moon landing. Buzz responded at 72 years old by punching the guy in the jaw. Fair fucking play.
Bing bang.
Fair play.
Fucking fair shot.
So, to be honest, I think it's bollocks. I'm 100% in that we land on the moon. But there are, I think, to be honest, some of the videos we did see weren't necessarily all on the moon. I think
What makes
more.
the problem is we needed, well, the Americans needed a win.
They needed a massive win. We were
win.
racing, weren't we? And I think the amount of material they brought back was probably overemphasized. Maybe
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe it was they added to it to make more of it so they could send it back, because I don't know the exact ins and outs. I've not looked into this. They couldn't have had that much room to bring a ton is a lot of material. Not on the moon, it's not.
I know. I shifted 7-ton of stone the other day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a lot of stone. You know what I mean?
How precise are these made to
Keith.
be able to take off and land? These things are measured to the microgram
Well,
to
that's
make
it.
sure everything's perfect.
That's it.
Chucking a couple of tons of sand essentially on there
They
isn't going to.
wouldn't
Not a
have
chance.
the capability of lifting. You got to think these things.
And
these things.
when coming back into the atmosphere, do they have to like produce their payload?
Yeah, passport
Like,
payloads.
Were they charged if they were over the ton? Like,
They wear tape. wear tape.
Well, they would have been.
Wait, Tara.
They would have been over tear, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah. But you got to think the technology that was powering the computer power. There's more power.
Yeah.
in it.
it was
And this is the other thing that I think.
calculator's got more going in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, this is the other thing I think that I actually do wonder. I'm putting my tinfoil hat on here a little bit.
Hello, of course.
I do wonder whether they did make some video in case they didn't make it because they had everything ready. They knew they were going to be able to get them out of the atmosphere, and they
Yeah.
knew they were probably going to be able to get them to the moon.
Yeah.
Did they just get some footage that looked exactly like the moon, just in case they never made it?
Well, that's
we
one
know
of the
they made it
overriding
because
theories.
they made it. They made it back. We've seen. We
you
saw
can
the
see
astronauts.
on there's a couple of telescopes which look at
Yeah.
the moon.
Yeah, we
you
did
can
watch
see
it.
there are footprints still on the moon, and you can see there is a US flag.
I
still
think more
planted in
likely there were preparations that
Allegedly.
if it went wrong,
You're
they
absolutely
had
right.
video
Yeah.
ready to be able to say,
Well,
fuck it, we did it anyway.
Yeah,
Nixon had a speech prepared
Yeah.
that was about the people that landed on the moon, and they will forever be interned on the moon if they were
Yeah.
to die there.
This wasn't there was
And
a
they
no
couldn't get
failure
back.
plan, was there? There was no
No,
chance.
they were
no.
never not going to make it, was it?
Well,
You know what I mean?
it was
They were always gonna get
completely
there.
the unknown.
They were not. They were just maybe
It was
they weren't going to
questionable
get
as to
back. But they
whether
were
they
never
were
not
going to
going
get
to
back or not. That was the thing. Yeah.
So maybe that's why the footage was there, because there was some footage of that.
I don't know.
So-
It's one of those things. It's kind of they had to get there wherever else happened.
I mean,
they
the
had to
bottom
beat the
line is-
Russians. They had to beat the Russians.
The bottom line is, I think we're all pretty
But
much
did they?
universally agreed they did get there. They did make
Yeah.
it back.
Yeah.
The overriding
So-
joke was that Stanley Kubrick was tasked to make the footage. Stanley Kubrick, who directed Apocalypse Now, I think.
Yeah, chocolate. Clockwork Orange. And all
Yeah,
that,
Clockwork Orange. He was tasked with making the moon footage, and that Stanley Kubrick was such a perfectionist that it would have cost less to go to the moon.
Oh yeah,
So they went anyway.
absolutely. And to be fair, there wasn't as good CGI, so
No.
trying to make the gravity look right would have
And
been
they-
incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would have done it because
They worked out that it was something to do with the shadows. I'm going to totally misquote and misrepresent this, but it was something to do with the shadows and the way the sun was. They were going to make the shadows look right on the moon. They would have had so many lights pointing at the actors
Yeah.
that it was literally going to be cheaper to go to the moon.
And I think there was a gravity problem because
Oh.
they could get the gravity looking perfect, but it'd have to be underwater. But if it's underwater,
Yeah,
generally it's hard to fake that. You could fully submerge, but then when they jump and land,
Yeah.
dust acts differently underwater than it does
Yeah, that's
on
it.
ground.
I think that there are a lot of things both ways, but I totally believe that we landed on the
100%.
moon.
Yeah.
It's one that's out there that
Yeah.
There's still like an air of suspicion about it, but I think
you could, to
general
be honest,
consensus,
you
yeah.
could have a very good argument against it. And to be honest, you couldn't necessarily be proven too wrong or too right.
The only thing
You'd
that
be-
is properly against it is that the fact that none of the original tapes can be found.
Yeah.
No.
They're all lost. The original footage from the moon landing has been lost.
But it makes you wonder if there was just a greedy guy in NASA a crazy guy. I mean,
Yeah,
you probably have got to be crazy to work.
But
in
obviously, they're
because-
probably all filmed on 35mm or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all been
big
lost.
cassette.
They can't find it. The original. They've got obviously copies, but they haven't got the originals anymore, which is kind of weird. Yeah.
One of the most important
It's
things.
one
that
of the
you've
most
done.
important things in the entirety of human history has been lost. It's like
I think they'd probably rather have lost the president than that footage
Yeah.
at the time, wouldn't
Oh, they did, though, didn't they?
Well, actually, yeah, they weren't far off that. And that's another one.
right. I think it's time to cut to a break. We'll go get beer of the week, and we will be back shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Let's
looked at me
do it.
like you were going to say something else.
No, we're going to send Reg.
You don't need to send me. I will go of my own volition.
All right, we're sending Reg many moons away. We'll see you in a minute.
Back shortly. Don't forget to moisturise. Zim Zimmer, who got the keys to my bimmer? Who am I? The goddamn sugar. How can I make love to a fella in a rush? Pass me the keys to my truck.
Yeah.
We had a 2-minute break.
Literally. Everyone had a piss and we're straight back on it. And then Reg put Beanie Man on. So here we are.
Right, are we ready? Marlon, who was this beer provided to
So
us
this
by?
beer was provided to us by Beer Hunter.
Beer Hunter UK, the UK's #1 craft beer seller. Check them out on their website, www.beerhunter.co.uk, using what discount code, Marlon? Get 10%
Our
off.
discount code, which is ITDH. That is 10% off every single fucking order you
Every
place.
single order. They have over 350 beers from around the world.
That's a lot of fucking beers.
And we are making our way through them.
I mean, we're trying. No one can say we ain't trying.
God damn, yeah. So if you guys want to pop in, grab an order, use our discount code, tag us, bang up an Instagram story, all that good shit. It would mean the world to us. Please support the brands that support us so we can keep the podcast going. Yeah, awesome. Right.
Where's the milk stout? Beer Hunter. Just asking.
I can request it. We're on good terms with them. I can request it.
Have a word.
Yeah.
Have a word.
I'll
Right.
ping our man a message.
Yeah, come on.
It's a verbal request right now.
Right, so this week's beer of the week is coming to us from Brewdog. It is the Basic Shake, which is a milkshake IPA. It's 4.7%. And without any further ado, Marlon, could you please write the mountain bullshit?
Creamy, fruity, smooth.
Ooh.
A fully loaded hoppy precinct with kiwi, lychee, and berry notes, all sitting on firm malt foundations. Milk sugar rounds and sweetens out the full tilt, juicy flavour. And oats inspire an asphalt smooth dream.
There's a lot of words there.
Why have they put asphalt in there? Because I don't want
Asphalt.
asphalt associated with anything I drink.
I've been since it's
I was
turned
just-
up. I've been very, very interested in what it's going to be like.
I was just
Yeah,
amazed. Like,
I've
you
not
know,
heard
that
of
bit of chip is paying off.
I'm
getting there,
I'm
isn't it?
getting there,
Yeah.
mate. The more I do it,
Hell, man.
the better. The
Do you
better.
know what,
I,
I'm gonna start listening to this like an audiobook at night when I go to bed. You know, it's like lull me to
Shall I
sleep.
start another channel?
Oh, mate, do it. Have a look.
Marlon's reading.
Oh yeah,
you know what?
it'd be like ASM, innit?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, whatever.
You do
ASM.
Marlon's reading, and I'll do Reg's history.
I've got a guilty
week, the
confession.
Falklands.
I've got a guilty confession for audiobooks. So I travel a lot, spend a lot of time in the car. I kind of got fed up with all the podcasts and stuff and the music. Once
Cheers,
you've done it all,
appreciate it.
Still listen, the thing is, I only get an hour a week with the doghouse. I'm in the car for 10, 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
So I did I thought I'd listen to the Lord of the Rings book.
Oh yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, never do it. It takes weeks.
Oh yeah.
It spent 2 hours in a fucking pub. Like, just with Frodo and all the hobbits. I know no one likes Lord of the Rings out there, probably. 2 hours in a pub I listened to. It was complete bullshit, but I finished it.
I must admit, I can't remember what book I was listening to, but I got properly engrossed into it to the point where I actually drove past the yard I was meant to pull in, went on up the road for a bit, and was doing laps of, I know it was Coventry, I think it was, just doing laps of fucking Coventry, listening to this. I was engrossed, you know what I mean? I was committed. Yeah, then I told my boss I had a flat tire on it.
I'd sat there
You
for
did-
3
you did,
hours.
Yeah, definitely had a flat tire. Sorry, Paul.
Right, are we ready then? Let's go.
Go for it.
Oh, not a lot. Not a lot of fizz. Not a lot of fizz.
Smells fruity.
Smells all right. I'm such a scumbag. I know I am, just from my taste. I just know I am. What are we thinking then, boys?
There was a lot of promise there. There was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of promises made.
Right, basically, yet again, I seem to use this as a benchmark for every time I'm on here for my beer. Like my sexual abilities in the bedroom department with the ladies and farmyard animals. Ladies and farmyard animals. Yeah, it's morning.
That's a very rude way to talk about your woman.
So I fucking split up with it. It's fine. You can say what you fucking like, boys. Crack on.
She a hoe.
She a bitch. No, it's not. She's a lovely girl. Just misunderstood.
Fight Joe Cocker.
That had a lot of promise, boys, and that delivered fuck all. I'm sorry. That was just, you thought, oh, it smells nice. And the initial taste is like, oh, that's not too bad. And then it goes bitter, and then a lot like the shipyard we had back along, fucked off to nothing. And it was just drinking water. So, yeah.
When it's a milkshake, I was kind of hoping for like almost like a creamy feel to
That's
it.
it.
And I know
Yeah.
that's kind of tough to achieve with an IPA. Like you said, it would more be appropriate to like a milk stout or something.
Yeah. It's just,
just
I'm not be funny. I think if it was, you kind of think it's going to be a little bit like something a bit thicker, a bit more like.
I don't know. I just
You know what
I was expecting some thickness.
Yeah.
So do you want my scumbag opinion?
Go on.
It's
Yes.
very quick. Tastes exactly like every other brewdog I've
Yeah,
ever
yeah,
had.
yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah.
No different.
No.
To me, no different.
Different can.
It's just an IPA from Brewdog.
If you did a blind taste test with that and
With
all the
not-
other ones,
That was not milkshake. That is just a Brewdog IPA.
yeah, just a light. Yeah, I'm with
It's-
you.
I know I've got scumbag taste, so I'll accept that.
No, I think you're bang on the money. It just tastes like every. You could drink it. Don't
It's
be
not
wrong.
bad. I actually quite like it. It's not bad, but it is just a Brewdog IPA for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, Reg.
Come on, Reg, add some sophistication into this,
Come on.
please.
Man of
We've
culture,
just
remember that.
crucified
the
him.
more I've got, I'm down half a can.
It's been open
I'm just
for 1 minute.
Can we just say you won't neck it?
I can't send it. If you wanted me to
Yeah,
shotgun it, I would have. But
you
now
can
it's
do
open.
this.
I can't.
Come on.
No, so let me finish my review and I'll send the rest. There was a lot of promise there, and it feels like it's kind of under-delivered. But the more I'm drinking it, the more I am getting. Because the problem was I was thinking sort of milkshake, like hard, creamy, like maybe getting like either like a sort of strawberry or vanilla vibes, because that's what you got in your head as like a milkshake. But what it's saying there, does it say lychee? Am I
Yeah.
right? Yeah, lychee, and there are sort of subtle hints of fruit in there, and it does taste. There is this sort of aftertaste of like a smoothness to it. It doesn't seem as harsh as every other IPA I've had.
Oh, it's definitely sessionable.
Maybe I
Yeah.
can agree with that. Actually.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like-
yeah, I
it's
could
nice
drink
and
it.
a
soft,
lot of
yeah.
IPAs are kind of very like I've always said, very punchy, very
Yeah,
like
yeah.
boom, boom, like oh.
I
fucking, like, it's a lot of-
I can't normally drink Brewdog.
that is a really smooth IPA.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's the.
Do you know what?
think-
Maybe now I've heard that, actually, I can probably agree with that a little bit more. It is
yeah,
very
yeah.
smooth.
And after you've heard
But
that, I'm going to move into
My
sales.
initial taste. my initial taste is it's the same as every other Brewdog.
Yeah.
Maybe the aftertaste is just a bit smoother.
I don't find it as bitter as I normally do.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
Yeah.
There's no bitterness at all.
I
to
not
it.
be funny. You could drink that.
Yeah, that's a
happily.
session drink.
That's
Yeah,
a
it
sessionable
is.
drink.
I-
Not a problem.
If they did it in normal human size,
I
yeah.
think
You know what I mean? Not like little itty bitty little cans.
I don't know why they supply beer in 330 cans because it really fucks me off.
Hate small cans.
3, 2, 1, ladies and gentlemen, Marlon, crack on, my lad.
He's stumped for one.
I mean,
He's that angry. He can't speak.
I would say don't get your hopes up thinking it's going to be some sort of really lactosey, almost like you're on about like a milk stouty
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
real thick thing. It's not going to be that, but it's definitely not your harsh, punchy IPA.
If it
It's
was in
very
the pub, I
smooth.
would
It's
drink it.
really smooth. Really
happily.
smooth.
It, Not be funny. Like summer's day, sat with a barbecue, bit of steak on a barbecue.
Now I've-
you can drink that all day long.
I tell you what,
happily.
that is probably the perfect place for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Put it this way: if I saw that on tap next to Double Punk and I don't know, I don't know how would I.
Stella.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if I saw,
Shipyard. To make it easy.
but put it this way: if I saw that on tap, there'd be very few things I would choose over.
I'd
it.
have a pint of that.
I
yeah.
really like it.
Do you know what? Depending on situation, like, so if it was like a hot day, like it's been at the moment, been warm, and it was Guinness or that, I'd actually go for that over a Guinness. And Guinness is my drink. You know what I mean?
I love how this has gone full 180.
Yeah.
We were like,
I still
oh, it's
like-
nothing there. And then we're like,
shit.
I would
think-
drink
No,
this
I still think
over
it tastes like
anything.
every other Brewdog,
I
but
think
I
it's
like
definitely the Brewdog name.
Ruins it.
Maybe, yeah.
I think we have
let's put a sticker over Brewdog and then the retaste.
Yeah.
put Northern Monk over it. My God, it's the most delicious beer we've ever had. It's
amazing.
No, I really like it. I do. Marlon, your thoughts? Have I swayed you with my
To be fair, I didn't hate on it to begin. The only reason I hated on it because it was from Brewdog. The more I drink of it, the better it gets.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
We've got a shitload more of them.
The edge isn't there. Like
No.
the nasty drop off at the end. Yeah, it's a lot smoother. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Right, I'm going to start with the ratings. Mine is definitely a 4.
Is this out of
5. No halves.
We don't do halves,
We don't do halves around here.
unlike the rest of the Shepton?
Mate, do you know what? I'm going to go... I'm going to go 3, I think.
Yeah?
I worked that on the fact that I drank a little bit more of it and obviously swayed by Reggie's eyes.
Let me put my polarized pits on, see what you say then.
Kind of bad, baby. Yeah.
Kirbz.
I'd probably have to. I'm going to put my humble hat on because it sounded really bad for me saying it tastes like every other Brewdog. I actually don't mind a Brewdog, and the more I've drank, like Reg says, it does grow on you, and it is incredibly smooth.
It's a grower, not a show.
Do you know
isn't
what
it?
the weirdest
I
thing
could
is?
just done the can.
I've done the can. The last sip of that can tasted the fucking best out of all of the sips.
I'll give it a rating, then I'll neck it, and I'll just confirm it. But I would give that a solid 4 because I would have a pint of that. It's really easy to drink, and my drinks, you know what? When I drink, it's a session drink.
Yeah.
You know, in for a penny, in for a pound, and all that. It's easy, and that's all I look for. Something nice, easy, goes down smooth. 4, solid.
4,
Yeah.
4, 4, 3.
Hold on. I'm gonna go 4 actually. I've just had another swig of it. Yeah, I'm going 4.
It does it gets a lot better once you drink
That
it,
is,
doesn't it?
I tell you what,
Yeah.
that is the only beer we've had on that started like I was thinking that's going to be like a 2 average, and now it's worked its way up to a 4.
I think it's got a really shitty initial taste, and then once you've got
Once you're
taste in,
Yeah,
once
once you're committed to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Marlon.
Um.
I know. I think I know where he's at, but he's hovering between two.
lips are
numbers.
pouting.
I'm hovering between.
Yeah, I
two
know,
numbers.
and it's going to take a little bit.
Don't do a house.
He'll never do
Fuck
it.
Don't do halves there, Shag.
when you're ready.
Yeah.
I'm at a 4. I'll give it a 4.
Hey! Unanimous 4. Look at that. What a champion.
That's quite good.
Brewdog, if you're looking for anybody as director of sales, do hit up Reg. You know what I mean? Because he just
He has pretty much just sold us all.
Yeah.
The fucking salesman.
He basically
Boy.
said, "Sit down, shut the fuck up, keep drinking, and wait." And it worked.
Well, there we go. Beer of the week provided to us by Beer Hunter. Check them out, please. Order some shit off them.
Always
So-
use our code ITDH.
Yeah, do you want 10% off or not? Use it. Don't be a fuck-faced peasant. Right. Right, it's time for Reggie's big fucking conspiracy. Right. Now, I want to differentiate two things. There's a difference between a conspiracy and a cover-up. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Because I got a shitload of cover-ups,
Well,
which I didn't.
I
didn't want to bring into this because.
well, this is a
I
half.
can feel an episode number 3 coming on already.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
mate, I got. So
Well,
much
this
more.
is a half and half, I think. So, I want to tell you about the Estonia, the ferry Estonia.
Oh, I do remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably remember
Yeah,
it.
because I'm old as dirt.
I had no idea about it. Right, so let me give you some background. I will give you the official story to start with. The Estonia was a ferry, right? It was a car ferry and obviously a pedestrian ferry. The Estonia Disaster occurred on Wednesday, the 28th of September, 1944, between the hours of about
44.
44.
Sorry, apologies. 1994.
I was going to say.
I am about.
I know I'm old, Shag, but you know what I mean?
I'm that many beers in.
Red just started building a tower.
The lean's happening.
Yeah, 1994. Sorry.
Marlon, you do all the reading from now on, please. All the reading.
Between the hours of about 12:55 a.m. and 1:50 a.m. The ship was crossing the Baltic Sea en route to Tallinn, Estonia, from Stockholm, Sweden, right? The Estonia departed slightly behind schedule on the 27th of September and had been expected in Stockholm in the next morning at around 9 a.m. So it was about, you know, it was a long fucking cross,
Fair
a long
old
cross.
voyage.
It's not. This isn't a Dover to Calais job.
Ain't no booze cruise drive.
Yeah. So it was carrying nearly 1,000 people. It was 803 passengers and 186 crew. Most of the passengers were Swedish, although some of them were of Estonian origin, while most of the crew members were Estonian. So the first sign of trouble aboard the Estonia was when a metallic bang was heard, presumably caused by one of the heavy hitting bow doors. So the bow doors are kind of like, have you ever been on a ferry?
Yeah.
So this is one of the so the bow obviously lifts up towards, you know.
Yeah.
Because that's where you load the cars.
Yeah, that's it. The bow lifts up and the car ramp comes down.
Yeah.
And that's what they assumed it was. Over the next 10 minutes, noises were reported by passengers at around 1:15 a.m. The bow, whatever you want to call it, was believed to have separated from the loading, from the ship itself.
Jesus.
And the loading ramp was then opened. The ship immediately took on a heavy starboard list. Initially at about 15 degrees, about 1:30 a.m. And then it rolled to 60 degrees by 1:50. So that's
fucked. Job's fucked, right?
Literally.
Well, in 20 minutes, it listed 40.
But you got to think, literally, the front of the ship
45 degrees in 20 minutes, which is, you know, the front did fall off. So water flooded the vehicle deck. The Estonia started to turn to port and slowed, trying to, you know, realizing something was wrong, and that's when all 4 engines completely cut out after being submerged in water. So the vessel's rapid list and flooding prevented many people in the cabins from ascending to the boat deck. So basically, water was coming in so fast that the people inside couldn't get out, which is fucking horrendous. So not only was the car deck flooded, the windows of the cabins were also being flooded as well. The windows gave way and, you know, obviously led to cabins being flooded that had people in them. The sea was incredibly strong, so obviously the upper decks, as it was listing, were being flooded with water at the same time, and this contributed to its fast sinking. And a mayday was communicated by the ship's crew at 1:22 a.m. But because it didn't follow international formats of a mayday, I don't really get what that means.
Right.
If you haven't said it,
sorry, mate, that's a Swedish mayday.
Yeah, but this is the thing. If you don't say mayday, then if you don't say it in the correct way, then people don't understand
Do you think
it.
it's literally a thing where you go on the radio and you go help, and that doesn't mean mayday? Like that.
But
Shag.
Yeah.
Ship's sinking.
Yeah,
Bruv, we've lost the front.
exactly. So yeah, the ship disappeared from radar at around 1:50 and sank into international waters on a bearing of 157 degrees from Uto Island, Finland, at a depth of between 74 and 85 meters. Yeah, that's pretty sad. 852 of the 989 people aboard died, which is, considering it was probably one of the greatest maritime disasters in our lifetime.
At least they got probably one or two.
I had never fucking heard about it.
Well, is this where we're going?
Well, I don't think it's not a cover up, because it was international news back then. But the fact that we all know about the fucking Titanic, don't we? But I had never heard of the Estonia.
I think the thing was like,
maybe it's the country.
Maybe it might just be something as simple as that. But you got to think the Titanic was the unsinkable ship.
Yeah,
it could not be.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
But then again, you say this.
Was it
but
the Titanic?
Everyone knows about the HMS Herald of Free Enterprise from Zeebrugge, don't they?
Yeah.
I knew about that. Yeah. I fucking never knew about this.
This is
the Herald of Free Enterprise.
Which is the one they tried to bury in concrete?
I'm getting to it. But yeah, the HMS Herald of Free Enterprise, everyone knew about that, the Zeebrugge disaster, didn't they?
Yeah.
But
I remember it.
Maybe it's the time and the place. Maybe from the Estonia and whatever, that maybe that's a huge
I mean,
thing there.
for anyone that doesn't know, the Herald of Free Enterprise was a ferry that left Zeebrugge, and basically it left with the bow visor up and the car ramp down, because I don't know whether people weren't paying attention or what, but anyway, so it flooded the car deck and the whole thing sank.
Hungover chief drive.
Well, may well be. So
Could be.
the boat sinks, the vessel sinks, and the majority of the people aboard die, which is fucking horrendous, however which way you cut it. So 3 months later, the wreck was examined and videotaped remotely by underwater vehicles, by a Norwegian company called Rockwater. Right now, Rockwater, very important, so don't forget their name. They were contracted to investigate it, and the official report indicated that the locks on the bow door had failed. So this visor that had come up, obviously, to then let the car ramp down, it had failed under the strain of the waves, and the door had separated from the rest of the vessel, pulling the ramp behind it ajar, which is the car ramp. So it basically fucked the car ramp. And
bear in mind, like the latches are like 6 inches.
The latches are enormous, right?
There's some big boxes,
and they will have backups on that.
So while down there, Rockwater, which are this investigation company, were instructed to assess the condition of the bodies aboard the Estonia and establish whether the recovery of all the bodies would be feasible, and assess the salvage of the ship. So whether
refloat for the job.
Basically, can we get the bodies out and bring them back to shore and give them a correct burial, and can we salvage the ship, bring it back and scrap it, essentially, or rebuild it, which is highly unlikely. The divers that went down there, and I watched an interview with the divers, they declared that it would be a long process to retrieve all the bodies, but absolutely achievable due to the lack of decomposition of the corpses due to the very cold water. They've been down there 3 months, and they reckon they could still see the red lipstick on the women because of the incredibly cold water.
Because this is
in the Baltic Sea,
right? Yeah.
So incredibly cold.
Nigh on freezing.
Yeah.
Right. So with this in mind, the Swedish government set up an ethics committee to decide whether bringing the bodies from the wreck itself should be ethical, or whether and the ship itself should be salvaged, or whether it should be left as a sea grave. So the entire opinion of the public in Sweden was bring them up. We want to bury them back on our own turf and have a grave, most people would. And when I started watching a documentary on this, I sort of thought to myself, fucking whatever. If they died at sea, they died at sea.
But if you say it was then again, someone you knew, you'd want them coming back.
And after watching it, I was like, no, I want them brought up. If they said that it was absolutely feasible to do so, just fucking do it.
Yeah. I get it if they're like a mile underwater, it's like going to cost...
Anyways.
Not even cost,
So we can't get down that far.
They said it was going to be a long job, but they could do it.
That's it. They had no issue bringing them back.
There was legs to it. They could do it.
The ethics council said that it should be left as a sea grave, and the Swedish government agreed. So that didn't go down too well with the Swedish people and all of the people who were relatives of those that had passed.
And just to confirm, this was only, did you say
94
meters?
75 meters down.
So it's not. That's amateur diver range.
You can free dive down there. Yeah. So after this, a law was put forward by the Republic of Estonia, the Republic of Finland, the Kingdom of Sweden, and the United Kingdom.
Bring a new law in.
The Brits to be involved somehow.
Yeah, that it was to be basically a no dive zone. So no one could go down there. No one could go down there and investigate it, and like we do with the Titanic today.
We want no eyes.
You can't go down there. Full stop. Anyone who is a citizen of any of those countries could not go down there, right? And they passed this law. But before the law was passed, there was one the husband of one of the deceased decided, fuck it. Before this law goes into becomes law, basically. I'm going to go down and get my fucking wife.
That's it, because they made a pact.
And this is it. This is the pact. That's what I'm saying. The Republic of Estonia, the Republic of Finland, Finland, Estonia, Sweden, and the UK said anyone who goes down there is getting prosecuted with a big ass fine. But before it came into law, this one guy whose wife had died aboard the Estonia was like, I'm going to go fucking get her. I know.
Him and his wife made a pact.
Oh, sorry. No, go on.
Him and his wife made a pact. that because they were not kind of like normal everyday people. They were adventurous of some description.
Oh, right.
And they made a pact that if one died before the other, depending on where it was, no matter like if they died skiing, rock climbing, etc., etc., the other one would get the other and bury them.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So, as Marlon said, this bloke was absolutely hell-bent. I'm going to go down and get her before the law was passed. Anyway, so he went out there with the ship and all the divers and everything, and he'd spent, I think it was around £200,000 on the operation. Yeah. Got there, and there was a Coast Guard ship directly above the wreck. And they said, like, can you move? And they said, no, we're not moving because there's a law about to be passed. You can't go down there. He said, well, fuck it. We're going to go down there anyway.
Don't blame him.
And the Coast Guard's ship sat there, anchored down, and just fucking, like, just put his engines
can he
on.
not just go around it?
No, he put his engines on flat out, making an incredible amount of weight, so they couldn't dive. Yeah. And that was that. And basically, he couldn't go get her.
Basically, if the guy still was going to insist on diving, he would have potentially put the guy's life at risk to stop it.
It wasn't him that was diving. It was he'd hired people to go down there and do it.
Like in those conditions, he made the conditions so bad that the Coast Guard, any diver that went down was probably going to be in peril.
So it was putting other people's lives at risk, so they wouldn't do it. Yeah. So so that was that. And then the Swedish government decided, you know what, we're going to entomb that ship. They were on about pumping, I think it was in the tens of thousands of tons of aggregate on top of it, just basically covering it in stone.
Maybe I'm jumping to point, but what the fuck was on that ship?
What?
There you go.
Or is that
why on earth there has been no? The Swedish government's their reasoning was it was on a sort of clay bank, and that they needed to support it from shifting over, and there was the potential of diesel leaks and fuel leaks and whatever. But anyway, the Swedish people didn't believe this, and they started pumping this aggregate out there, and then there was this entire uproar from the entire country being like, what are you doing? What are you fucking doing? So they stopped. They got about a quarter of the way through chucking this stone down on top of the ship, and it stopped. So while all this is happening, Mayor Weft, I believe is how it's pronounced, the builders of the ship did a 3-year investigation into the sinking. And they concluded that the visor breaking off from the ship was not the cause of the sinking, and the disaster was yet to be explained. Ooh. They just basically said, like, this
it's not possible.
The ship can survive without the visor.
Yeah, basically, the ship can survive without the visor, even with the bow ramp down.
It's got enough to get home.
It should still be able to be buoyant. So, yeah, I mean, while this is all going on, the Swedish people are still demanding for a more thorough investigation, and it was continually declined. So, right, we're going to fast forward a little bit here. I think it's about 2001. My numbers were a little bit off on this. I couldn't really get an exact date. Rumours are sort of circling about Russian military equipment being smuggled out of Estonia. So, you know, look at it. We're in the 90s, right? 90s is a well-known time in Russia for basically, it's the Wild West in Russia. Yeah. It's got the fall of the Soviet Union. That's over. We've turned to the Russian Federation. And basically, if you've got something, if you're a general and you've got something, you're selling it because capitalism reigns king now. Well, communism is over.
They had no government. They had no...
Exactly. Nobody knew who was in charge, and it was a fucking free-for-all. So a lot of this sort of military tech was, you know, and the West wanted it, and Estonia are like, yep, no, we can sort that out. Yeah, so not good. And there was rumours, obviously, all this tech being smuggled out of Estonia. So Swedish customs boss Lennart Hendrickson said that the MI6 had been involved in this highly sensitive and potentially very dangerous smuggling operation. This was broadcast, you know, through the press, live. Sweden initially absolutely said, "Fuck no! What the fuck is this going on about? No.
We are neutral, and we will be neutral."
Yeah, no, nothing to do with that.
We are Sweden in this, not Sweden.
Anyway,
Switzerland. Sorry,
a lot more, and then obviously after Matey Boy came out and said this, a lot more people came out and said, "Oh yeah. When that ship left, we had to hold because these military vehicles had to get on the ship, and we were waiting for them to get on." Yeah. Anyway, so it turns out that that's actually fucking true.
Is it?
Yes,
It
was true, and the Swedes actually acknowledged the fact that yes, unbeknownst to us, there was some sort of smuggling thing going on between Estonia and maybe through us to the UK.
So short story is Russia were passing some military stuff. We bought it through Estonia to Sweden in the UK.
Exactly,
But we fucked it, and we're covering up.
So, but the
we didn't fuck anything.
no, well,
the ship fucked it.
No.
Russia knew this was happening, and they basically in absolutely bare to the bones way. Russia said, "Stop! Like, we know what you're doing. We know you're using the Estonia to smuggle all this shit out. Just stop it." And we ignored them. This was sent to the MI6. This message, just stop. We ignored them, and then Russia said, "Stop, or else."
Or we'll stop it.
Yeah,
And it stopped.
so leave it there. Anyway, fast forward 2019. A Swedish guy who is not fucking happy with the outcome. He's like, "Fuck this! I am going to go down with a German crew, and we're going to dive on this fucking wreck."
And remember, Germany's not in the little.
Germany is not in this agreement, so he gets out on a German boat. He gets out there. There's a fucking, I believe, a Finnish Coast Guard. I think.
I think you're right there.
A Finnish Coast Guard's out above this wreck, and
Which
they're
means
like,
they've
"What are
been
you?"
guarding this for years.
Yes.
Someone's had a full-time job just sitting.
Well, I think it was more a case of word got out that they're going out there, and they were like, "No."
But I
And-
suspect they probably patrol that. Clearly, they've got an eye on that.
And in the
area.
documentary, it says basically, "Are you looking to dive on the Estonia?" And they say, "Yep." And they're like, where do you hail from?" "Germany." And they're like, "Oh, well, it's a sea grave. You shouldn't go down there." Like, yeah, we appreciate all that, mate. We're going down
Did they
there.
say, well, we're going to do some donuts anyway, just in case.
So we're going down there. So he decides to fuck it, we're going down. And they go down there using a remote-controlled camera-toting submarine sent down by a TV documentary crew. And the footage they find, obviously, the bow visor is missing because they've already hauled that up. There is a 13-foot fucking hole in the hull.
Well, there you go.
Not
There you
only
go.
that, but they find that the fucking bow visor is missing, and the car ramp is slightly sort of ajar, but they've railings on the side of the ramp to stop you driving off them. They've been cut off.
I was going to say, can we guess that now, when you look at that bow visor, or whatever it's called, is that cut quite cleanly or come quite cleanly off? Doesn't look like it's bent or snapped.
Well, the bow visor is, from what I've read, is sort of inconsequential, but the fact that the car ramp is sort of ajar as when it sank, but they've cut the fucking railings off, which would be wide enough to get something out of there, out of the car deck.
Well, the fact that they missed a 13-foot hole.
Well, this was it. This was the whole.
Quite,
this was the whole thing. Is that
there was investigation done.
Nobody could agree that the reason it sank was because the bow visor fell off. They said if the car ramp was, even if the car ramp was down, which it wasn't, the car ramp was up. Everyone said the car ramp was up when it sank. It would not fucking sink.
And I'm guessing nobody at this point is.
There is.
I'm sure they've asked, but nobody said how this 13-foot hole got in there. They can't claim corrosion, so I'm guessing they're going to claim something. This is something for 20 years' time. You're going to get another piece of this puzzle, aren't you?
So basically, this 13-foot hole that is in the hull of the ship, which these guys found in 2019.
Is this significant with a torpedo hole by any chance?
Well, they sent it off to an engineer specialising in impact damage, and he was consulted on this hull and determined that whatever would have caused this hull would need to have been about 1,500 tons in mass, which is exactly the size of a Russian Kilo class submarine.
So we're saying a submarine hit it, or
well, now we're getting right into the weeds now, because what I'm about to say is not not backed up by anything. But what I'm saying is that if you torpedo that thing, that's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's fucking obvious. You torpedo a ferry,
but I mean, I don't know how. In fact, Gilo might be able to answer this more better than us. But how good are submarines at ramming?
Right,
would you realistically want to ram a ship and hard enough to be able to put a hole in it
basically
and then be able to drive away.
Thing,
Because
thing
clearly
with
there was no other
submarines,
wreckage.
thing with submarines, they are built to withstand
Pressure,
blast.
isn't it? Yeah.
Pressure and blast. Everything with submarine is double strength.
So it is potential they could.
Submarines are fucking hard
They're
things.
not built to ram, but they could.
Well, you got to think the Russian Alphas are built of titanium,
yeah.
and they can move at sort of like
The
30,
pressure's
40.
literally like hundreds of tons.
Hundreds of tons per square
so
inch.
It has
You
to
know
be.
what I mean?
So when
everything's
you're at
solid.
75 meters, like there is no pressure.
Probably not.
Not really. Well, you got to think you can dive on oxygen up to 100 meters.
Yeah.
So you know,
So 75 tons
70
and taking a hit.
yeah.
These submarines go down to the point where your body would explode if
We
you went
think
outside.
if it's hitting it on the hull, it's pretty much surfaced.
Yeah.
So it is either like just under.
So what we like the basically the sort of bottom line of the question I was asking is, would a submarine for one be willing to risk hitting a ship?
Well, I think
and would
so.
they get away with it?
The
I think
thing
that's
is,
probably maybe
I obviously the sensible sort of thing was like, no, they wouldn't want to risk a submarine hit, headbutting.
well, yeah, probably actually that's probably a stupid question. But could they survive it?
Sensitive
But
shit going over and
submarine-
submarine key.
Compared to a ship,
If I make it simple, realistically, if a submarine wanted to, they could
they could.
ram
they
it,
could
and
ram it.
Absolutely.
they would get away
This
with
is
it.
what
and
I'm
they
getting
wouldn't-
at.
they
It would
be able to
it
get-
would
yeah.
fuck it up.
Yeah.
It would
But they'd make it
massive.
home.
But you got to think there's an internal pressure hole.
Yeah.
So you got the internal
They
pressure
might
hole,
just
and then
cut
you got
the
the
front
outer
off.
skin.
Well,
That'll,
depressurize
that'll,
the front.
that'll run us into something else in a minute.
No, okay.
But yeah, a submarine theoretically could do it.
Yeah, okay. That's
Compared
sort of all I
compared
was.
to a
Yeah.
conventional civilian ship. Yes, a submarine could
Yeah.
do it.
and the rumor,
Allegedly, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm no expert.
again, this is rumor and sort of hearsay, but the general prevailing thought was that on this ferry, it was not weapons or guns or anything like that. It was sort of paraphrasing here, the guidance system to Russian ballistic missiles.
Well, that's the other thing. Even
Which
if
is
it's,
incredibly fucking important to the Russians, and if it means 800
Russian
fucking people have got to die,
They,
fuck 'em.
they- yeah,
they don't give a
do
shit,
anything.
Well,
do
we're-
they?
we're seeing this with
Because
Russia.
at the end
Russia
of-
don't care about
At the
people.
end of the day, Russia are going to be like, even if it came out that Russia
In
ran
all
the
honesty,
fucking ship,
I-
you cunts shouldn't have been fucking smuggling military hardware on a fucking civilian ship. At the end of the day, it would be the West that was at fault.
in all
Yeah, that's
honesty,
the
it's
other
not a
thing.
Russian.
Why would they put that on a civilian ship?
Well, it's
because what if you?
Yeah, stick on a fishing boat, Shag.
They were going to send. They were going to send a ship to Miami to do cocaine. Fucking submarine to Miami to do cocaine in this era. So they
Operation.
didn't give a shit,
One of my
didn't they?
favorite documentaries ever.
But also, you have to remember, this isn't just a Russian thing. If our government found out that there was a ship, if there was a public ship full of military
Yeah.
goods, potentially giving away technology,
fucking sink the cunt.
they would not think twice about taking 900 people
No.
out. Any government in the world, they would not think twice about taking 900 people out to save their
Oh
technology.
yeah, you got to think.
Of course they wouldn't.
To quote Lenin, we're all useful idiots.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they paid the price.
That's it. Yeah, moving on from that, keeping it a little bit submerged.
Oh, just quickly before, if
That's very
anyone, if
interesting.
anyone wants to know more about this, there is I think a 6 or 8 part series on Discovery Plus.
Don't
I
do
watched
this to
it.
me,
You
Rich.
watched it, Marlon.
Yeah,
it is one of the most interesting.
Was it called
It's, I think it's called
Yeah.
just put in Estonia
It's-
on
yeah.
Discovery
Oh,
Plus.
Thank you very much for ruining my bank holiday, because that's where I'm going
Yeah,
now.
that's exactly where
It's
I'm
not
going.
too long, Shag. It's not too long.
My missus walked in and she was like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "I'm watching a film in mainly Finnish with subtitles about a ship." And she was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
That-
2 hours
that's
later, she's like,
exact-
"Next, put the next one on, next episode, you cunt! I'm not waiting 10 seconds now."
Chief walked in and she was like, "What are you watching?" Just this thing about this ship which basically sinks and basically shit happens. She was like,
I tell you, you summarise shit so well, don't you?
"Tell me when you tell me when it's finished, will you?"
Yeah, that's all kinds of freaky and west, isn't it? That one.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know more about that.
Yeah,
you're
I'm
going to send me
I'm
down a
watching
real
that.
rabbit hole. I've never heard of that.
Watch the documentary. It is.
We should be
fucking
sponsored by fucking
mind-blowing.
Discovery Plus.
That was a good one.
All right. USS Memphis. You know anything to anybody?
I know
No.
not that one.
Once you start going, it'll ring a bell.
Is this the
Don't-
one about the Manhattan Project?
No.
Damn it.
No. Right, USS Memphis. Let me mention another one. The Kursk.
Oh, I know all about the Kursk.
Yeah.
Oh, I know all about the Kursk.
Right.
Ask me
I
anything
don't
about
like
the
USS
Kursk.
chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Right. USS Memphis appeared in, I think it's Sweden. I'm kind of running a little bit off the top of my head. With suspect damage down the long axis of its hull. And it also happened to be about the same sort of damage area as on the side of the Kursk. Now, just to make it brief, you can go right down a rabbit hole with it. But certain sources say that the USS Memphis was tailing the Kursk, because the Kursk was actually meant to be doing sea trials for the Chinese. The Chinese were watching it because
Well, it was out on War Games, wasn't it?
war games, but there was a contingent from the Chinese Navy
Right.
with a view to purchasing submarines from Russia.
Oh, not a good advert.
Not a good advert. So
Would not
basically, yeah.
TripAdvisor not out of 5.
Yeah, but basically, obviously, the Americans knew this was a thing, supposedly, that the Chinese were looking to buy submarines of the Soviets. The Americans weren't happy about it, and what they were doing was shadowing noisily the submarine to let them know there's another submarine there. We're not happy about it.
We see you.
We see you. You know what I mean? We know what you're doing, and just basically fucking around with them. Rumor has it that they collided. Now, submarines collide quite often.
Yeah, it happens a lot more
It
than people
happens
think.
a lot more than people think.
How?
Because you
Well, because
can't hear it. If you
Because
can't
they're
hear it,
silent.
they're silent, mate.
The idea is
Yeah.
that they're stealth, aren't they?
Yeah.
You
It's not
just-
like you got a window look.
I mean,
out.
that's
Is
a
this
small
like
world situation,
Same
Nick. It's a big
teams
sea.
colliding? Or?
No, it's often like sort of red on black.
Imagine they're probably all on the same in the same area because they know someone's out there, so they're all hunting for each other. and
Surely
you just-
some
That's it.
cunts on the periscope.
Do you know what? That's got to be
Don't work on
terrifying.
water jacket.
That's got to be genuinely terrifying.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
say back in the war, you're looking for the U-boats and stuff, and you're going around in your submarine, and you can just go, fuck.
Can I
There
have
it
your
is.
insurance details, please, Shag?
So, boys, we've just hit it, but we're a bit close to hit a torpedo at it.
But anyway, supposedly there was a collision, and these things happen, and normally money changes hands, and everybody keeps quiet.
So, like, under insurance.
It basically it's
Just
like
so
we'll
they
sort it
don't
out
lose
between
their
us.
no claims.
Yeah, we'll sort it out between us, Shag. You know what I mean? You know, that's it. Cash job drive. But anyway, so accidents happened in Memphis, and it's collided with a ship in the area around about where the Kursk is. The thing that and I don't know if you know anything about it, but the front.
I know a lot about the
They
Kursk.
they cut the front of the Kursk off.
They cut
didn't
the front of the Kursk off, yeah.
Now, if you look on
the front fell
That's where the torpedo battery was.
where the
Magazine, sorry.
torpedo, yeah, well, they call it the bomb shot. The bomb shot was at the front, right? But there is a suspect hole, perfectly round, punched in at the top. Now, if you look where they cut it, so you got the front of the ship, or front of the boat, there's a hole there. They cut right down below the hole.
No.
So, and supposedly when the Memphis went in for repairs and what have you, it had to go in for a rearm as well.
Now, my counter argument to this is the prevailing thought around the Kursk is that the Russians, this was in 2000 or 2001, wasn't it?
One, I think it was.
Yeah, so Putin had only been in about 6 months. We all knew that during the 90s the Russians had no money after the fall of the Soviet Union,
Yeah.
and they had a military that they couldn't afford, and they couldn't afford to maintain. And the torpedoes on the Kursk were like a
Heavy water.
heavy water, copper, brass, acid, basically things that needed to be fucking serviced and that weren't being serviced. And the overarching idea, or the idea that's put out in the press, is that these torpedoes weren't being maintained. One of them overheated and blew the fucking front off of the Kursk, which led to a sort
front
of
falling off.
The front
So
fell off.
why would they cut it off then?
This is the thing I don't really understand. This is
So
sort
it
of-
looked clean
thi-
rather
this-
than an explosion?
This is kind of leads to your theory, Gilo, but what I don't understand is what is more embarrassing for the Russians that we have a fucking the Kursk was the pride of the fleet. The Kursk had a fucking swimming pool on board. I don't know how if you know about not swimming pools. If you know about submarines,
I know about.
There are a lot of room in them.
generally speaking, there's not a lot of room in them, and so you don't generally have a sauna and a swimming pool.
Put it this way, I couldn't fit on British ones. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
The Kursk was enormous, like it was beyond huge. Now the pride of the fleet goes down. What's more embarrassing? Do you say we were fired upon or rammed into by an American sub, or do you say, oh, we couldn't afford we couldn't afford to fucking maintain, we couldn't afford to upkeep our fucking sub, so the
this is Russia
sank.
that were looking to take a jab at America every single time.
Well, this is what I don't
even
get.
if they were
also,
what's worse?
Several billion was transferred from the US to Russia.
Well,
So not be funny.
maybe
If I turn around, Kirbz and said, right, I'll give you £2 million to say that I'm a dickhead.
do anything for £2 million.
Well,
It's nothing
The thing is, I think it would be.
But maybe there was a dodgy Russian general that said this submarine that's got this technology is going to be here on this date. Take it out. Maybe the Americans have people to dive down there, get the info they needed, get out of there, leave the ship. So it looked like it had been.
By the time, but in 2001,
we don't know.
the Kursk was a fairly out of date sub. I mean,
but go back to the point that we say
it was luxurious.
When I said everything
enormous.
that comes out now is about 30 years old.
It was Oscar class, wasn't
even
it?
though it's an old submarine, the technology hasn't moved on all that much.
No, I don't think there was anything the Americans could have gained from the Kursk.
Maybe it was communications thing. Maybe it was
blew itself up.
They needed the computers. They needed the info.
Yeah, that's the.
Well, they reckon, conspiracy theorists reckon that something called Type 48 torpedo was fired into it, and basically it's not explosive; it's more electrical. It'll give all electrical systems a heart attack. It's like an EMP, basically, with a screw on the back.
But, I mean,
but on something like that, the Russian super sub, if you call it, they've probably got. They've probably got hard drives full of information of Russia. So maybe it was a technology thing. Maybe it was they needed the information off it. They didn't need the technology.
It wasn't a nuclear sub, was it?
Oscar 2s are nuclear.
No, she's just running on a cat diesel engine.
No, but it didn't have it didn't have nuclear weapons on it, did it?
No, they wouldn't. No, it wasn't an SSBN. It was just it's like a large hunter killer.
Yeah,
it might have had a direct connection to the place where the nuclear codes are given out from for hackers and stuff like that.
Why would the Americans attack a Russian sub? That is like literally the precursor to nuclear war.
The problem is
they can.
That's it. You know what I mean? You got to think. You got
same as these Russians that fly over used to before it all kicked off.
Yeah.
They used to fly over the UK
always used to intimidate.
The UK couldn't do an awful lot. Maybe the US just said fuck them one day if they're going to keep flying.
What I think it is obviously the senior staff at sea have got to make a decision at some point.
That's very true, yeah.
So
send the Vulcan down.
And this happened a lot in the war as well. Back in World War II.
Yeah.
We attacked blue on blue a lot of the time because we'd see an armament. The high ups would know it's so and so, but an officer says, "Well, fuck it, this is my division. I can see an armament there. I'm going to hit it.
I'm having it."
And this is what I mean. Even to this day, back in the Iraq
exclusion zone. What?
But no, they some, like I said, some information I've seen on it that I can't remember what was said, but basically the Kursk had flooded its torpedo tubes, which indicates it's loaded.
Yeah,
and it opened its torpedo doors.
There you go.
So obviously that would explain why they might have cut the front of the ship off.
Yeah,
because the torpedoes are actually set quite far back in the sub. So if he's flooded his tubes because he thinks he's been attacked, and the Memphis thinks he's being attacked, what are you going to do?
Someone will pull the trigger.
Someone's going to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
He lets one off.
At some point, it's going to be someone's going to panic and just hit the button.
Well, put it this way, the distressed boy from the Memphis was released.
Right.
Because they found it bobbing around.
So they thought it was going to...
So, you know what I mean? Obviously, we haven't got all the information, but maybe it was a massive misunderstanding. And unfortunately, the Kursk...
But we know these things happen on our own, let alone an enemy.
That's it.
Or,
you know what I mean?
What was... They're not technically enemies, but it's not a friendly,
it's not a friendly force.
It's a grey zone, isn't it?
Yeah.
So bottom line, fuck the Russians?
Well, yeah.
At the moment, yeah, fuck them, you know what I mean?
I don't think there's ever been a point
but the
where
thing
not
is, and sort of going off a little bit from the Kursk, like going like the Ukraine thing, this is the worst thing Putin could have done, because it just shows that the Russian army is a fucking dog shit outfit.
It's
You know,
You've
it's
seen
been a
some of the
hugely
kit that's coming out.
Yeah.
Like shag.
Yeah. The Ukrainian farmers are dragging it along the back of their fucking fence at the moment. You know what I mean?
Shag, put it back in the shed. Honestly.
The one thing to take away from the Kursk is, aside from all the conspiratorial bullshit, is that 108, I think 108 or 118.
Yeah, it was 108 or 118, wasn't it?
118 people aboard the Kursk, which is every single person aboard that submarine died. And that was, regardless of what you believe as to how it sank, that was due to the Russians refusing help.
Yeah.
We tried.
The Royal Navy had the rescue set up ready to go.
Yeah. We had they had the Prees, which was they had two rescue vehicles, one of which they'd sold to tourists who wanted to go dive on the Titanic.
Rescue vehicles.
And they had another one that was basically powered by lead acid batteries that was been so badly maintained it could get down there, and it had two attempts to make a suction seal around the escape hatch, and it failed both times. And then it had to go back up and recharge for I think 12 hours. Basically, the blokes down there were down there for 8 fucking days.
Yeah.
And
they reckon three of them are stuck in the back of the submarine.
Yeah.
In the last air pocket.
Yeah. And it was
like days.
There's conflicting reports as to whether they died of oxygen starvation or whether one of them opened an oxygen tube, opened an oxygen
box.
What do they call it? Oxygen producing canister.
Yeah.
And basically, if any water touches it, it ignites all the air in the room and killed them all. But it was basically Russia's refusal to accept help from us and the Norwegians, which led to the death of those 118 men. If we, it's up for debate. They might well have died within the first few hours, but it's believed that if we'd have been allowed down there and to help the Russians, it was more a fact of, look, let's just leave international politics out of it. Let's get down there and help those men.
Get the men out.
Get the men out.
Treat them as humans.
Yeah, exactly. Not as a nationality. And Russia refused it and refused it and refused it. And 8 days later, we went down there and we found they're all dead.
Yeah. Surprise.
They hauled the fucking whole thing up. They hauled the whole Kursk up apart from that front section.
Now, what I can't work out, obviously going back to Estonia, the CIA supposedly have got a ship called the Arizona Project.
The Arizona, so that fucker sank, innit?
Yeah. You know, the Arizona, or Azor or something like that.
We know a lot about naval history between us.
I know,
It's terrifying.
Just
Hey,
weird.
I've watched about 40 hours of World War II in colour.
Welcome back to World War II in colour.
And I don't
Marlon, Kursk and Gilo.
I regret nothing.
I'm owning this shit. Fuck the lot of you. If you all turned off, that's your fucking loss. But yeah, no. It's basically a ship that was designed by the CIA to lift the K-129, which was a Russian submarine.
You know, far too many numbers.
I know. I just looked it up on my iPad, actually. I couldn't remember what it was. But basically, it was a Russian submarine, and they were after the encrypted coded system that they were using. And supposedly, according to the Russians, well, the Soviets, it was, the CIA stole their submarine. Because basically, they had an accident, submarine sank.
GTA submarine, yo.
Yo, that was it. And basically, they made a massive ship with a massive lifting rig underneath
Just to pull it up.
and went over there, picked it up, fucked off with it.
Ta-da.
That was it. And the Russians have. It's still fucking going on
Grand
now.
Theft sub.
Yeah, but what gets me?
Don't ever drop it.
What gets me is that ship's still there, like still with America. So how come it hasn't gone out and got Estonia and stuff like that? You know what I mean? It's just
They don't want to know. They don't want to know. They're hiding it from us.
Keep it in
They're
their
hiding it from
pocket. Keep it in their pocket.
yeah.
I got
You got what?
I got a little
us. It's got to
one.
be a short one, man.
It's got a little one. Right. So
Oh, it's only a 4-point PowerPoint. For reference, I'm sat behind Marlon so I can see everything.
fluorinated water. Sheeple.
Oh,
Don't drink the water.
oh,
You're on about fluoride in the water.
Fluoride in the water. So allegedly, it's put in the water to prevent tooth decay.
yeah.
That's basically where it came from. So way back when, in the 1900s, a dentist man, he was traveling in Colorado and found a village that had their teeth were really strong, but they had a shitload of like brown stains on them,
Yeah.
and he basically attributed that to fluoride.
Right. Is fluoride a naturally occurring compound?
Well, it's natural.
Whatever, everything's natural, but like
Is it actually natural?
Fluoride's is actually I think it's, I can't remember if it is natural or not, but I definitely know it's a byproduct of aluminium smelting.
Yeah.
oh,
Fun fact.
So basically,
Fun
fast
fact,
forward
kids,
to the
you're welcome.
50s,
Pub quiz.
they proved fluoride decreases tooth decay, basically.
yeah. Well, it's a well-established fact, isn't it?
So from that point onwards, a
So
lot
you
of
think-
places start putting fluoride in the water.
Yeah.
US, UK, US being like the main thing. The majority of Europe, they start putting fluoride in the water. So, this is where it gets a little bit hairy.
Ooh, he builds a suspense well, man, doesn't he?
So, fluoride allegedly, apparently, shuts off our pineal gland.
I thought you said shuts Earth then for a second. I was like, Jesus, that's
Stop,
strong, isn't it?
Tell me what the pineal
Tooth
gland
decay.
is. I'm not up together on
So
biology.
our pineal gland is our X-Man gland, our sixth sense, our chakra.
Your gut, feet, chakra.
That's it.
Spirit.
My chakras are aligned. I've been to go see the shaman this week.
I'm going full fucking like.
Go on then, frogs
Yeah,
are
that's
gay.
simple,
Let's go.
how, yeah.
So without our chakra, our X-Man, our sixth sense, they can control us with the fluoride in the water.
Yeah, really.
They can.
Okay.
Adding to the,
So to be fair,
adding-
we're easily led by Reg a minute ago with that Brewdog beer, so you know what I mean?
To be honest, yeah.
that's it.
You'll fall
It's
for anything,
because
right?
there's fucking fluoride in the water.
If I hadn't drank my water this
Chemicals in the
morning,
water that
I'd have
turn
totally
the
stuck with
friggin'
it.
frogs gay.
Right, adding to this, the dentists,
The
they
evil
promote
dentist.
this. They promote fluoride.
Right.
Fluoride's in toothpaste.
So are we saying dentists control the world? Fuck the government.
I think.
And all this time I thought it was the Jews.
No, Reg, no.
It's the fucking dentists.
So
The
basically,
BDF are fucking pricks, aren't they? You
what
know what I mean?
I've established from my little reading into this, it's a branch off of the Illuminati.
I've got another version for that.
You're reaching. You're
reaching.
reaching.
I'm not
You're reaching.
No,
I usually
There's-
try and
there's-
find a counter argument to
there's-
argue for stuff like this, but I'm really
Do you know what? Do you know what?
struggling.
I heard like
look, the fluoride in the water is making the fucking frogs gay.
The friggin' frogs gay.
Well, I heard it was large multinational companies in America that came up with it because obviously they had a lot of byproduct of fluoride through aluminium smelting, and to save massive disposal costs, they were starting to put it in the water. I think it's complete bullshit, but
I think it is.
the likes of Henry Ford and that lot were pumping it into the water just to get shot of
I
it. You know
don't
what I mean?
dis Henry mind.
But that's
Oh,
it.
no,
When you
no,
know where the
unless
byproduct
it's
comes
an Escort.
No, that's a piece of shit. Yeah, no, it was basically back in the 1900s. There was a lot of tooth issues going on, as
Yeah.
you can probably imagine, because the sanity wasn't great, and
and they put fluoride in, took away our feng shui, but our teeth are great.
yeah,
Look at mine.
It was
look at it. I'm missing half the fucking thing. You know.
It was a big-
I might not be a Wolverine, but I got good teeth.
there are so many people that fully believe, like, especially there's one or two on the state which fully believe fluorinated water is the root of all mind control.
You know, these are one of these conspiracies. I think we're pretty universally agreed from looking around the faces. It's clearly bullshit.
Yeah,
but this is one of these
absolute bollocks.
conspiracies that's good for people to know that are out there, because these are the things that a lot of listeners might not realise. People actually believe this shit.
Oh yeah. Flat out believe it.
People are
And this
fully
is the stuff we
committed to
like.
this.
Obviously, we love the Area 51 stuff. It's really cool. But it's
Yeah.
good to bring stuff to the table that
Which is
people would
completely
never have
so
known about.
far out there.
Yeah, we know it's shit, but it's good to.
The problem is the
We let
moment
people know
you're
the crazies.
branded as a conspiracy theorist, you are then, like you say, gay. Trying to turn
I don't
frogs
like them
gay.
putting chemicals in the water.
I told a
that
couple of
turn the
people
friggin'
we were doing
frogs
conspiracy
gay.
stuff. They said, "Are you one of those?" I was like, "No, I'm interested in it."
There's just certain things that I go against the,
And it's interesting
the
to know
narrative.
the other stuff, like the fluoride stuff. It's interesting to know, even though I think it's total bullshit.
Yeah.
I'd still look into it just because
Oh yeah,
it's
but
fun to look
it's
into.
just some of it has some sort of credibility to it. Some of it you can go, yes,
You can find truths in some of this. I mean, there's always a truth in something. Even the crazy,
Ain't no
the
smoke
lizard
without
people
fire,
stuff,
shine.
but
That's it.
It's cool.
Like,
It's just cool to know. Isn't it?
Literally, look up a few YouTube videos of fluorinated water, and you will either be swayed one way or the other.
Anyway, Marlon only cleans his teeth with mud now.
But look how great they look. Like, you know what I mean?
With zero tap water.
Fucking piece of shit.
You brought it up, Shag.
I thought
You brought
fluoride
it
helped him, but clearly not.
Oh, dear.
He's looking
yeah.
good over there without it. And he's got his feng shui.
I think we're pretty much done here.
I got 2 shout outs a minute.
Oh, fucking Jesus Christ.
Let me just load the old notes up.
What I was going to say was, if you would like to do us to do another conspiracy theory episode, we will do another one. We will do it on more light-hearted things. We've got a couple of other things in the works.
I'll stop getting all like naval excitable.
So we're going to do some light-hearted ones, I think, if we do another one.
yeah.
I've got
I've got a few
got
more
a
in the
really, really good light-hearted one.
I have.
Which I've got loaded up ready, but we haven't got the time.
I think we all bought a couple here today.
I've got one about the McDonald's ice cream machine.
I've
I'll
seen
save that for the next one.
I've seen, yes.
Now that's conspiracy.
Yeah, man.
Right, Marlon, hit me with some shout-outs.
Right, Nathan Gill. Sorry, Shag defenders is shit. And then
Agreed.
a shout out to old Sam Thomas and Miles. Discos are shit. So bing bong, fuck your life.
So basically just a lot of Land Rover slating. Welcome to my life. Right, one quick thing before we square off, a little bit more admin. The Patreons, we appreciate you. We love you. Don't get it twisted. Amazing. We have had our first payment come through from Patreon this week. And all of you who are on the £1.5 plus VAT Patreon, we found out that Patreon are a little bit more greedy than we first imagined. We didn't quite realise when we signed up. We thought they only took a 5% of your donation. It turns out no. Out of your £1.25, we receive 74 pence, which fucking sucks.
Thieving cunts.
Yeah. So we are going to put another level on the Patreon, which is going to be about £2 something. You're more than welcome to join it if you feel that we deserve more than what Patreon are fucking taking. Basically,
Less than a pint of beer, boys.
yeah, it's a flat rate they take. It doesn't increase with the amount of donations. So if you feel like you want to up it and see a little bit more of that money go towards us and a little bit less go towards the corporate overlords that are Patreon, we greatly appreciate it. But if you want to stay there, every penny fucking counts and it means a world to us. So yeah, we'll have that set up
Amen.
by the time this comes out. Bar crawl tomorrow. Be on your best behavior. Don't fuck us around. It's going to be fucking brilliant. We'll make a good night. You make a good night. I'm very much.
We'll all have a good night.
We'll all have a good
absolute
night.
worst behaviour.
Yeah. I have no problem with people sending it, but just remember it is our local town and we do want to continue drinking there for the foreseeable future.
No fucking fighting.
No fucking fighting. No fucking fighting.
Right. So, Mule sent us a thing.
All right. What do you send us?
So, in his spare time, ever since I've known him, he used like different apps, BandLab, etc., etc. He likes to do a little rap.
What is he like? Somerset version of Eminem, is he or what?
What's the Somerset? Yeah, yeah.
Like Shotgun Kelly, not quite as good as Eminem, you know?
No, I'm going to play it to you live.
Go on.
Ready?
Go.
This is a rap that he wrote for us.
Why do dogs bury bones in the ground? I don't know. Because you can't bury them in fucking trees. An Irishman, a Jew, a homosexual walk into a bar.
Welcome to the doghouse, guys. There is just no compromise. Well, really, you should sympathize, cause their penises won't arise to the occasion. Erectile dysfunction, there's been a malfunction. No introduction, seeing as I'm here, let's just shotgun another can. Boy, I'm not really sure if Reg was born a man. I asked Titch if he was coming and he said he might. So I brought a step ladder so he could reach the mic. Turns out that mic wasn't a mic, it was Marlon's hair under the laser lights. Welcome to the sesh. Now let's not go down that road. I gotta keep it PC, politically correct like I've already been told. Big dog on the couch, eyes like a pit bull. My favorite celebrity is Joseph Fritzl, who also had a man cave like Reg, but his was cooler. I'm filled with many girls instead. I'm quick-witted, sick spitting chickens on the move. Punch her nan in the fucking face if she tries to steal your groove. Fuck these titches, fuck these wretches, fuck these Marlons, fuck them all. Oh no! Titches in a relationship and just loves all the kisses. Although he is so short, I've heard on the grapevine he has to go up on his missus. Marlon's got a dead Escort on the drive and it's just so problematic. But it doesn't look half as bad as the one he showed me stuffed in his attic. But seriously, an 80s Escort, can he fix it? Well, maybe he can. But I've got one thing better than that, and guess what? It's Madeline McCann. It's the doghouse news. Abuse the booze and leave with a bruise. Maybe some new tattoos. Chuck a 5-star on a couple of fucking reviews. Fuck the Jews, you snooze, you lose. So wake up, cause they'll be roasting your car while fingering your mom, playing a fucking electric guitar. And some of the shit they say is gonna be like so bizarre. So turn it up on the stereo, traveling far. Reg and Marlon will come along and penetrate you deeply. So you better tune in every Friday, motherfuckers, cause this shit plays weekly. Hi, puppy!
All right, thank you, Mule, for that absolute beauty.
Awesome.
That's a banger. So we're going for number 1 on the charts soon.
Yeah, votes
Yeah,
up,
fucking
Spotify,
make it happen.
Instagram, fucking all those good shit.
Bing bong, fuck your life, we love
Chill.
you.
Right, I think that's about it, Marlon. You fit?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well done, Shag.
Right, wonderful. Thank you ever so much for listening, subscribing, sharing, and following, all that fucking good shit.
Figuring you look absolutely ball bagged.
I'm just really tired, mate. But yeah, no, I'm good. Right, wonderful. I've been Reg.
I've been Marlon.
I've been Gilo.
I've been Kirbz.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to moisturise. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheerio.